adventurers that have been hired to meet a client to help him as extra hands and security on an expedition to find a lost tomb, the house, wise one. All right. And you are currently in the kingdom of Surabet. You are trying to find the wise one in the wise one's house inside the valley of the Great Helimini Valley, inside or just outside the Red Dune Sea. You've been hired by your client. He is one Halamund Erhad, a wizard archaeologist who desires to uncover the secrets of this legend of the Wise One. You are to meet him in the oasis town of Arhemar. It's a small oasis town on the outskirts of the Dune Sea, allegedly not too far from the House of the Wise One. So, you are currently traveling to the city, or rather the oasis town of Arhemar. And on your way there, you've encountered sweltering heat, sand on every direction, and no true sight of any reprieve from this terrible, terrible heat. So, as you approach the city of, or the town of Arhemar, you are able to see in the distance it is now evening. The setting sun is a vibrant orange, and now it is finally cool enough to at least be room temperature compared to the absolute oven that it has been traveling to it. It's been approximately a week now since you've been in another civilization, and your supplies are beginning to run low. You can see in the distance the oasis town of Aramar in the setting sun. You can see that there are some lights on in the town, and you are simply within 30 minutes walk of the town itself. Once you get into the town, it has now become just past sundown, and the cold is finally starting to set in of the night. You decide that it's probably best to go into the tavern where you are allegedly supposed to meet this wizard. So, what would the party like to do? Yes. No, it's a different campaign. Oh, I put the link in the main Tavern Talk room. The latest pin.
He has a nice, pretty picture for us.
There we go. And I did not make this one. I grabbed this one off the internet.
You don't need to tell people that.
Well, with this one, I like to give credit where it's due because I have made one or two maps in this one. Okay. So, with that, it is a small oasis town surrounded by a stone palisade wall that doesn't have any supports or rather any walkways on it, just a simple palisade wall. You enter in through the gate and you are able to see the main town square with a well in the center and several carts around. There is some standing lamps that are in the process of being lit by a small boy. He is taking a candle and putting it on a stick and putting it up and lighting each of the lanterns in the main square. Outside of that, just across the way, you are able to see the sign of the local tavern. The, I had the name. There is the Tavern of the Hodma. All right. So,
Mm.
what would the party like to do?
Well, I'm hella thirsty, so I could use the drink first off, unless we have something else really need to handle first. Mm. Mm. You suppose there'd be any shops open at this time of night? Let's just head in then, sure.
So, you want to go into the tavern?
Yeah, let's head on in.
All right. You enter into the tavern. There is no proper door, but there is a kind of curtain of beads that are multicolored and look bejeweled, but it's clear that they are not any kind of jewel. So, with that, you part your way through the beads and are able to see a primarily quiet tavern with some regular patrons that are getting their meals for the night. And you see a bartender at the bar who's currently pouring drinks for some of the patrons at the bar. You see that there are several tables, most of which are empty, barring one. The one that has a person at it, he is currently a hunched over human male with blue robes that is currently just lording over a piece of parchment and writing away with his ink and quill. You can also see that he has a loaf of bread with him and a mug containing some kind of drink with it. And he does have several chairs open at this empty table.
That looks like our man. Let's head on over and say hello.
So you approach the man.
Yeah.
All right. As you begin to get close, you can physically hear him scratching away with his quill on the parchment, and he picks up the parchment and reviews it, kind of looks at it in the light a little bit, and puts it down and kind of blows on it to dry the ink a little bit more. So, as he lifts it up and puts it down, he notices you approach. And he goes, "Oh, are you any of the people that I've hired?"
That's probably the case.
"Oh, good, good. You're the first to arrive. So far, it's been a week. I'm hesitant to say that I think you're the only ones to arrive.
You
Period.
said that you hired more. How many people are
I
what kind of a
originally
job is
hired,
this where you're hiring
I originally hired at least seven other compatriots. They've yet to arrive, and they may not arrive anytime soon, as our departure date is tomorrow.
what's the rush?
Uh, Limited funds and time allotted by my college. Extra security. We're delving into the unknown of a tomb, and it's possible there is some guardians of sorts guarding the temple. The legends aren't very clear on this, but it does say that the Wise One had his own personal guard, and it's mostly safety in numbers, if anything. Hopefully, you won't have to raise a sword at all.
Who is this wise one again?
This Wise One is a man of legend, or rather, a man that is in a legend. And we're trying to figure out if he even existed. We're pretty sure he has upon multiple local accounts, but it's nothing but hearsay. My grandfather saw this man, uh, family seeing him, and some such. Only hand accounts of first-hand viewing.
So we're gonna just raid this guy's grave.
Well, not grave per se. Resting place, yes, but it was his physical house as well.
You already know where this place is? You've already scouted it out?
I have not. I've only the tale that told that it is allegedly within a hidden canyon valley inside the great, um, I forget always how to pronounce this, Halemini Valley? Yeah, he reaches over and looks at his parchment. Yes, the great Halemni Valley. They always have such weird pronunciations in this region.
Hmm. So we're hmm? No? What are you saying?
Well, the great Halemni Valley we are currently in, but this canyon valley is. These maps are ancient. Here, give a look. And he shows you a piece of parchment of a map of the local area. It's dated to be centuries old, and quite frankly, it seems like this map might be outdated and fantastical. Seeing how there are some illustrations of creatures that are on this map. which I'm sure is just artistical taste of the map creator. But at any rate, I really think that this is just a simple desert valley.
Where is this?
Oh, for the Canyon Valley, the only place that truly fits the description, I've marked our path on the map to it, is this area up here in the top left corner. It's the only place with the geographical description that could seem to facilitate this canyon of sorts. Um, take your pick as to which to roll. Sure thing. You recollect tales of ancient beasts or beings that used to swim through the sand as if it was water. Outside of that, you can't seem to recollect anything further, outside of one tale that you've overheard. You don't recall any name of these creatures.
What makes you? Oh, I
You
see.
may, but at disadvantage for this one. Okay. You do remember, as upon hearing of this job of the wise one, you do recollect being told of the wise one in the past, and that's what caught your attention on this particular quest. So you decided to join up. However, you do remember that the wise one had a pet of his own.
You're saying you think those things are real? What? What? This guy doesn't have a cat or anything? The pet's got to be a giant man-eating scorpion. This guy doesn't sound all that wise to me. Hmm.
Well, for how he got the tale, or rather the title of the Wise One, in an ancient legend, he was once the advisor of one of the great sultans of the region. He was the advisor of, like, the third, I do believe, the third great sultan of the area. I cannot pronounce his name, please do not ask me. But he, in every depiction, it always chuckles me, or makes me chuckle, that he's wearing what looks to be a giant onion on his head. The local garments are interesting, albeit it's only a turban. Maybe the bigger it is, the more grandiose the person. But at any rate, he was the advisor of this great sultan in matters of magic, art, in ancient history, and other some sorts. The way how the tale goes is apparently this advisor fell out of grace with the sultan, as he had stolen a multitude of artifacts and or treasures from the sultan's own armory and arsenal, for reasons that are unknown currently. Allegedly, the tale goes that the wise one fell greedy
Mm-hmm.
and was then banished by the sultan.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So you're a wizard, yes?
I am, yes.
So you hired a bunch of bodyguards to come with you. So what do you? What do you have to bring to the team? What can you do? Are you just a what can you do other than
Aside from
research
my
things and
skills and knowledge of the arcane, I do have a few fireworks, as it were, up my sleeve. And he reveals his arms to be actually rather short sleeved and revealing his arms. His arms are largely sunburned, and the rest of him has a good gardener's tan.
like little party tricks?
Well, there's always that that any wizard can do. I do have a few of the base spells that my college provides, the teachings of at least, or at least the resources to readily do. Uh, a few of which I can readily bring to bear, but I have studied in this region for a while now, so I have come to learn a thing or two of the local arcane knowledge, as it were.
So what do we need as far as supplies? Do we
There
have any
is a
mounts?
merchant that will open up in the morning. He can provide us with a bit more of the provisions we'll need. Outside of that, uh, we already have weapons of our own personal persons, but we can acquire more. There is a local blacksmith in town. He primarily works on repairing tools and horseshoes and the like, but he has been known to craft a blade or two.
Are we going by foot? Or do we have mounts?
Uh, Unfortunately, without some of the compatriots that I've hired, they were meant to bring along our mounts. They have not arrived, so it appears we will have to go on foot.
So, judging by the map, this place is a ways away.
Minimum of 3 days' journey, and that's if we're hoofing it.
Hmm.
What is our mission exactly? Is it just initial discovery, or do you think we're gonna be bringing back things? You know,
Initial discovery.
as grave robbers typically like to do.
Initial discovery, marking the location and marking our path as to how we got there for later archaeological study, and uncover what we can if we can.
Okay. Um,
Ultimately, we don't know what we're expecting.
Surely there's some donkey or three in town. We might be able to buy off the locals or something. Wouldn't
The
that hasten our
only
journey by quite a bit, at least on the way
I
there?
I do agree with you that will certainly help, but the only person I know to own livestock that can carry people would be the local mayor. I forget the pronunciation that they gave for him. It's it's a local title. Um, I believe it was called the Iumda, or I'm just going to refer to him as mayor. I cannot speak the local language as best as I can. Even though I've studied here for years, I just cannot wrap my head around it.
so that raises the question, if we go by foot, well, first off, you said this is an ancient map, correct?
Yes,
So, do you have a more updated map?
unfortunately, no. The local typography is very difficult to traverse, and it shifts so much with the sands and winds that ultimately the only place that truly resembles exactly as it did back then are the tall peaks of the Hoodoos and the savanna plains of the Arhamar outskirts.
So what is this terrain we're going to be traveling through? Is it primarily just dry dunes? Is there any water between here and there? You said it's many days travel by foot.
Between here and there is allegedly no water. But there is the oasis and the stream to our backs going to the eastern Hoodoos. I believe there's a spring over that way. But outside of that, no water between here and the rest of the Red Dune Sea.
Where did you say this oasis was? I don't see it on the map.
It's
We are stationed next to it.
I see. Mm.
mhm. So, first off, suggestion is we need to get several, if not days, we need to have probably 2 weeks worth of water
That's understandable.
per person.
Do you
Um,
have it in your budget to purchase mounts? Assuming
I
it's
have
possible to
only
convince the
been
locals.
I have been given a grand total of 100 gold to fully finance this expedition. At best, that's all I have left, where I have spent a few for room and board, but that just leaves us with 99 gold, effectively.
Oh, wait a second. Does that include our pay?
Not directly. If there is anything there of value, such as direct currency, that can go towards your pay. But however, seeing how tomorrow is our departure date and none of the others have arrived, we have been given a grant upon completion of at least discovering this place where you'll
Hello?
receive all the cuts of the others who have not arrived.
hmm.
And what was the pot? I'm sorry, I missed that. What was the
What was
grant?
the what?
What was the grant worth?
The grant itself, I did not mention directly.
And that comes from your college?
That comes from our discoveries, the value of those discoveries, and the usefulness of those discoveries.
Hmm.
So,
Those will all be weighed individually.
okay. So, first things first, we're gonna need food, we're gonna need water. Uh, do you by any chance have a bag of holding?
On my person, no, I do not.
Hmm.
Okay.
Glad to see someone's come prepared.
hmm
Uh, yes. I have supplies for myself, but I assumed others would bring their own along on this journey, knowing where we're going,
hmm
which might be the reason as to why none have currently showed.
I mean, with what you're paying, I can't blame them exactly. Well, let's let's see what we can do with that 100 gold of yours tomorrow. How about we just call it a night
You
and
all right?
get a good rest? What do you think?
I think it's a good idea. Nothing's open at this point. In the morning, we'll make sure we have enough food, water, all that jazz.
Cool
Okay.
beans. Let's head over to the tavern keep, see what he's got as far as rooms are concerned.
Okay. So I'll bring you over to this tab. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture for the barkeep himself, but I do have this picture. Okay. So, with that, you approach the barkeep is a. Here we go. There is, in the Haud Ma, there is a Nazim Al Omar. This Nazim character, he does have a light skin, he has a handlebar mustache, and he wears a small turban and red vest with trousers. He stands at about 5'8" and is seen with a welcoming smile.
Hmm.
So, would you like to approach this Nazim?
Yep.
All right. So he finishes pouring the drink of one of the bar patrons at the bar counter, and he looks up and sees, "Ah, Sadiq, yes, come, welcome, welcome. What can I get you to drink? Yes?
So he speaks common.
Yes, I do.
Well, we're looking for rooms tonight. You got any?
I currently have two more available rooms.
Okay.
That's convenient.
Well, yes, we don't get many travelers, and I only have a total of four.
So how much is a night for one?
Silver a night for passerbys.
You said 1 silver?
One silver apiece, yes.
Sounds like a deal to me.
Mm-hmm.
You all
Let's get
right?
some.
Is there anything I can get you to drink? Yes?
Do you have just plain water?
I do indeed.
I'll take a whole pint of that. I'm thirsty.
5 copper, please.
Okay, here you go.
So 5 coppers. And for you, miss?
Um, I'll take a whole pint of water as well as a room.
You're all right. So that will be a total of 3 silver.
Okay, here you go.
3 silver is taken. So now you have 7 silver, 98 gold.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with that,
Okay, so you're keeping track of all that.
uh, looks like I'm gonna have to.
Cool beans.
Notepad. if I can spell gold correctly.
I
Seven
guess I'll
silver.
ask, what do we plan on doing first thing in the morning? When do we wanna wake up and head out?
Mm. We should head out and be ready to go first thing.
Do we want to travel during the middle of the day and the peak of the heat?
Well, if well, we could always travel at night, but there's also the dangers of the night.
Like what? I'm not familiar with the desert. I would think that the night would be safer, no?
Mm,
Alamund butts in with this and says, there are many night creatures that like to come about when it's a lot cooler than the day would be. It is recommended that we do keep our guard at night and rather keep with the day.
Hmm. I guess we'll have to suffer through it.
well, it's
Yes.
also easier to sleep during the night than it would be the day.
Hmm.
Unless
Hopefully
you
we
have
find a.
good padding on your tents.
Mm.
Hmm.
Well, all right. I do believe I will retire myself. We can also get some protective clothings that can help stave off sunburn. And he lifts up his arms again and
Mm-hmm.
displays his lobster red skin.
Hmm. Well, we can worry about that all tomorrow.
That we can.
Okay.
All
Until
right.
until the morning.
Until the morning. Good night.
And this will be a long rest.
This will be a long rest. Yes.
Or a short rest. How long is a short how long is a
Short rest is 1 hour. Long rest is 8 hour.
long rest time?
And you can only
All right.
have one uh, long rest per day. So,
And just about as many short rests as you want in a day that you fit.
Okie dokie then.
Okay. So with that, the night passes, and you wake up to the sound of a chicken, a single chicken, of a out in the field. With
okay.
that, you can hear the hustle and bustle in the morning tavern, as people are getting some breakfast, as well as a few coming in for a morning drink, because it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with that, Nazim welcomes you back out into the main tavern area and asks, "Is there anything I can get you?"
Uh, hmm.
Breakfast?
Yes.
You all right?
What do you
Uh,
have as far as breakfast is concerned?
breakfast? Would you like a drink with that?
You have milk?
I have goat milk.
Is it good?
Uh, he goes over to the jar and lifts it up and kind of takes a whiff of it. Like, it's got a few more days left in it.
I'll take some of that. What are you cooking in the
Sure.
morning? What are you cooking this morning?
We have fresh bread every day, and we do have a few eggs, but outside of that, no meat until the evening.
Hey, better than nothing. Need your strength for the journey.
So yeah, basically eggs and toast for breakfast. So the drink will be another 5 copper, as well as a meal will be 5 copper, so a silver each for food and drink if you like.
Deal?
Uh, I'll take a meal and some water.
Fair enough. And you, sir?
Oh, exactly the same.
All right. If I
Oh,
may get
oh,
a silver
the
each.
milk, the milk. Sorry,
Oh,
I'll
the
take some
milk.
goat
Yeah,
milk, please.
that'll be the same price. So a silver each, please.
Bada bing.
Okay.
All right. So bada bing, bada boom. So now you guys got 98 gold, 5 silver. Hey, so with that, he goes back into the back, and you can hear him talking with someone else. And he comes back out and says, "The egg should be done in just a minute, and I'll be with you shortly."
Hmm.
He goes back to the jars behind him, and he pours one mug of water, and the other one is a thing of milk, and it pours over, and it fills the mug, and roll perception for me, Zargish.
I will do this. Passive?
No, passive is just you being there. Active, which is just regular perception.
Did it pop up for y'all?
Yep.
15.
15.
You see that he pours milk.
That's good.
Okay. So uh he brings both your drinks over to you, and your food shall be done shortly. And he goes back into the kitchen, rustles around a bit, and roll another perception check, Mr. Zagat.
I will be exceptionally perceptive this time. Oh my.
Ooh.
You are currently holding a mug of milk.
Oh, that's
Oh
good to know.
no.
Okay, so with that, you go ahead and take a drink, and you can taste that it is certainly not a few days away. It is just on the cusp of spoiling, and you can feel something rummaging around on your tongue as you drink this. And as you begin to kind of like feel around your mouth as to what that is, that's a chunk of something.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
You have drank slightly spoiled milk. Please roll a constitution save for me.
Oh.
Ugh.
And it's goat milk, no less, so it has its tang.
Oh my! Are you fucking kidding me? Are you?
You immediately, upon tasting this and feeling the chunk and realizing what it is, you immediately spit back out your drink. And it does make quite a mess, as it is repulsive.
Oh goodness.
Oh.
So Nazim comes back out and he goes, "Oh no, are you okay, sir? I could have sworn it was better than that."
All I'm gonna say is no.
All right, can I get
No,
you?
no, it's not.
Can I get you some water instead?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He takes the jar that he previously had and pours himself a little glass, swirls it around, and takes a drink of his own. He's like, "Yep, yep, that does have a few more days left in it." And he puts the jar right back where he found it. And he turns the shot glass that he had upside down on the counter, and he takes your glass, puts it away, just kind of tosses it out the window real quick, and then pours water into that same glass. He then puts that glass back to you, but it's more of a. These are clay cups in all actuality. So these uh, do have a earthy texture once you put your lips around them. But other than that, these are perfectly drinkable cups. So with that, he puts the water back in front of you, and he's like, "And your meal will be ready shortly." And he comes back into the kitchen, and a minute later, you see him walk out with two plates, each of which have a half loaf of bread and two eggs served sunny side up. He places them both in front of you and says, "Please enjoy, and let me know if I can get you anything."
Yeah, I'll ask. Got any sauce? Got any butter?
Butter, no.
You ain't got no goat butter?
Not until later tonight. We went through the rest of it last.
Uh, I guess this is the best we're gonna get. Thank you.
Unfortunately, yes. And he kind of does a half bow.
I start eating.
Yeah.
All right. So the eggs are cooked well enough. You're not going to get salmonella. So all that's left is the bread. The bread is kind of grainy, but it is good overall.
hmm
All right. So after about 10 or so minutes, you both finish your meals, and it is now about 10 a.m. outside.
Let's go looking for them supplies. Let's find our wizard friend first.
hmm
Wherever he bunked up.
So you are able to hear, as you approach one of the other doors, you can hear a loud, almost obnoxious snoring going on from one of the rooms. You begin to knock on the door, and you can then hear that it is indeed Mr. Hallamon. And he kind of like perks up, and you can hear a loud kind of snort as he regains consciousness and manual breathing. So now You can hear this snort. He goes like, "Yeah, what?"
We're
Uh,
knocking on his door.
yeah.
You can hear a loud yawn. You can hear footsteps that are currently barefoot by the sound of them, of a kind of meaty whack on the floor. And you can then hear him approaching the door. You can hear that there is several locks that he undoes, each of which going chink, chunk, chink, and then a final clank. For one of them, he opens the door and you can see that there is a plethora of at least 6 locks that are on the door. And he then opens the door to reveal he has quite a set of bedhead on him. Actually, I do have a picture for this man, so let me find him real quick. This man.
Hmm.
What is he?
He is a
What?
human, but he is shorter in stature. All right. So with this, I believe we're ready to get going. I typically don't eat breakfast. It doesn't sit well with me.
Not even before long desert journeys.
I have my own provisions. Thank you for your worry, though.
Um, Suggestion is that we double check and make sure we have enough water and such. I still have uh the pint. We can order another one,
Yeah,
but
let's check our rations. How many water skins do we have?
Currently, you both have your own water skins, but they are empty from your travels. And outside of that, no additional water pouches on your person. He does, however, Mr. Halliman, have at least 2 water pouches, each of which under each arm,
okay.
kind of like
Let's
hiding under his armpits.
let's see what we found out in the square, in the well.
All right.
Uh,
So,
Sorry.
yes,
Suggestion is that we each buy at least one more pouch. And the pint of water, was it just a cup or
just a cup.
okay.
Well, let's go to the well.
It
We
was a
can
mug of water, basically.
Okay.
fill ourselves up there, and let's see if we can buy any more skins in the town.
Mhm.
Okay. So, tabbing back over to here.
So we're gonna wait for we wait for our friend to get ready, and then we head out all together.
You all right? Sounds like a plan. Okay. So now you are back out into the town square, and you are able to see that there is a shop peddler, or rather a peddler that is standing outside of a shop, and he has all these arrays of goods, many of which look to be fruits. There's some vegetables, and he does have some loaves of bread and a few jars that are clay pots, really, over to his side.
Okay.
And I think I have a picture for this guy too.
I'll go up and ask the guy. Do you speak common?
Yes, sir. Most of us all do speak common.
I suppose you'd have to if you're gonna engage
We
in
have,
trade between peoples.
yes, we do have trade between or across the Dune Sea, the Red Dune Sea. We get travelers that cross every so often, but not very often.
What do you
Mhm.
have as far as rations or
Oh, if you
uh,
plan to cross
keep?
the desert, I do have grain that you can mix with water to create a porridge of sorts. I do also have loaves of bread, some dried meats, as well as I do have pouches of water ready for sale.
Okay.
Just the pouches, not the water itself.
You can get that. We can get that over the well, can't we?
You can get it at the well or the oasis, whichever choice suits you.
Hmm.
Oh, here he is.
Where?
Okay.
Okay.
Um
He is a older gentleman that is wearing a kind of cap of sorts. He does have on a large, oversized vest that is meant to be more of a duster. But you can see that he also pulls it open and says, "Can I offer you any antiques as well? Any souvenirs for your travels? I
mm,
have little lanterns, I have wooden pipes of the local palm tree, and I also have parchment made from local papyrus.
You said pipes, like smoking pipe.
Smoke pipes, yes, sir.
Hmm.
uh
Fine, thank you.
so well, it was parchment, pipes.
For
Lanterns.
souvenirs, that is.
Ah.
Parchment pipes. There's a notebook or two. Uh, and the notebooks have on their title Artemar. This is a little souvenir section of his shop.
Mm.
What's on the papyrus?
Just papyrus parchment.
Hmm.
Essentially, if we wanted to and we had the skill, we could map make on the way.
Does our friend have the provisions for that? I would think he would come prepared. No, what
He
was
is able
returned
to
to
do
him?
that. Yes.
How much does he have as far as paper and parchment and ink?
You mean
You would have to
notes?
go back to the tavern to directly ask him.
Oh, he didn't come with us.
No, not directly. He's getting ready.
Oh, let's go grab him because
Okay.
he's the one spending the money. Sound like
All
a
right. So
plan?
you go back to the tavern.
I'm at least gonna go back and grab him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you go back to the tavern, and you can see that his door is slightly ajar. And uh, is there anything you wanted to do before going into his room?
Knock.
Knock, yeah. Courtesy, I'm here. Don't kill me.
So you knock on the door, and he perks up a little bit, and you saw him through the little crack that you did. You did see him putting things into his backpack on his bed. He closes the pack and then walks over to the door, opens it, and goes, "Oh yes, can I help you?
Yeah, let's go.
I'm still packing my things. I just need to make a few preparations.
What
Well,
uh do you have all the preparations you need to cross the desert?
For myself, I just need to get them all in my pack. I unpacked so that I could stay here comfortably for the next few days, or
Mm-hmm.
rather, for the last few days. I should.
Mm-hmm.
you said that one of our main goals here was to create a map and map out where we're going. Do you
It
have
is.
the?
I have parchments of my own, but some of which have been used for for uh, for the sake of Our Lady in Presence, for other purposes.
Well, we'll say that there's a guy outside and he sells more of it.
Uh,
So if you need some
we could
more,
certainly do with a few more parchments. Yes.
okay. Well, when you're ready, we're
Okay.
ready. You're the one with the money, so
Okay. So with that, it is currently a shared party fund, so it's fine either which way. But for those who didn't guess, he ended up using some of those other spare parchments as toilet paper.
Hmm.
So with that,
I don't suppose they have such niceties
they do not.
in a place such as this.
Most likely not. No. But there is uh, the shopkeep over there, uh, and there is a blacksmith if y'all wanted to go to him as well. And to buy any livestock to ride on, you would have to visit the what's it farm? The Bamia farm
Uh,
of the wheat plantation of Bamia.
Honestly, I think it's better if we go by foot. Partially because, one, if we have livestock, we also have to feed and water them.
Mm,
And as comfortable as that may make the trip, we also need to be aware that, hey, we have this may be a long trip. We won't be able to take them inside with us.
mm. I guess slow and steady wins the race.
Mm-hmm.
Said the turtle.
If the wizard's fine with it, I think it's a sound plan.
I do believe that does make sense. Yes,
Um,
Unless you have a flying rug or something.
I do not. I hope to find one actually.
Good for nothing.
uh,
Oh well, let's buy some skins. Let's see how much they are.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so you go back out into the square. It says, and the you go back over to the merchant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he re-greets you. Welcome, Sadiq. Can I interest you in my wares once again?
Uh, we're actually interested in the water skins. How many do you have for sale and for how much?
Currently, I have 6 for sale. But outside of that, I do have other things if that interests you.
Other
I
things
have
that
a
can hold
keg.
water.
A keg?
I do have a keg. I can fashion rope to it like a backpack.
How many
Even have a
water
spigot
skins?
on it.
How many water skins worth of water can it hold?
That would be approximately 4 water skins in that keg.
That.
That's DM speaking, not the guy.
Mm-hmm.
How much is the keg versus the water skins?
The keg itself is 5 silver versus the water skins, which are 2 silver apiece.
The keg.
I would. You don't think we should just get 2 water skins each, so we can each carry our own water?
Well,
3 total, 3 on each person.
the keg can have 4 plus a couple water skins.
Hmm.
Water is
I
going to
can
be
carry.
our most valuable thing, and then
I
we
can.
can.
I can carry the keg then.
Okay.
I figure like kegs, you can bust open a keg, where the water skin probably can hold up to more abuse. Let's get both, like you said. That makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. So, how many want to get all the water skins, or just 4 of them?
Let's get 4, and then the keg.
Okay, so 4 times 2 is 8 silver, and then the keg was 5, so that would uh 2 get in there. 13 silver. 13 silver in total, please.
Okay. And then how much for uh and you said you had grain you can mix with the water to make food forage?
Yes. I do have that in some supply. I have 1 sack of it in current stock. Being 1 gold in total. Food
Which
is
is a
harder
sack?
to come by.
How much is the sack?
The sack is the 1 gold, yes.
How
Well,
much? How big is it? How much is this?
Oh,
50 pounds
it
or how much?
has 6 portions in it, being 6 meals worth in it for a full meal for 1 person.
We already have rations on us, right?
You
mm-hmm.
do have some, yes.
We'll take that. I think that
So
sounds like
one
a
sack for 1 gold.
Okay.
gotta eat.
That
You can
should
eat.
since our
He
guide.
has dried meat.
Yes, he has
I'm
dried
sorry.
meat. I
How
was
much
going to
is that? What were you saying?
I was going to say our guide has food. We have rations. We should each
Mm.
have rations that last us for about 5 days.
Mm.
This is 6 meals, so if we split between, let's say our guide or the guy that hires us has all the food or he needs. This is 3 meals each plus our 6 days of rations. I think we're fine.
Good. Okay. Sounds good. Let's head over the. Let's pay this man, and then let's head up to the well and fill our
Mm-hmm.
containers.
So you hand over the coin, he hands over the goods, and in total you should now have 96 gold and 7 silver allegedly.
Okay.
I'll ask him actually. I'll ask the guy because I'll say, "Do you live here?
I do, yes.
What do you recommend? Do you prefer drinking from the well or from directly from the oasis?"
Um, if you go for the oasis, I typically pour it through a goat skin and have the water drip through the skin and into a pocket, and it tastes much better that way. It's a bit cleaner too. But the well is uh, cleaner than the oasis itself, but it does have a funny aftertaste.
Just a bad taste though. It's still good to drink.
Drink, yes, yes. All of it's good to drink outright, but it's the taste.
Huh? I figure the well's fine for us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Unless you have
So
a
you
preference.
go over, and the keg is currently empty. You are able to potentially try and lower the keg and get that full water.
Just lower the bucket from the well and pull it up and fill it all manually.
All right, then. So you are able to do the lowering and lifting of the bucket, and
Or I can do that if my compatriot wants to go off and look for more supplies or whatnot.
I mean, the only other thing we could get at this point would be dried meats.
We could see what the blacksmith has to offer.
I have enough weapons, I think.
Mm.
What about you?
I'm sure I do, but
And we both
can't
had
hurt to stop by real quick and see what there's to offer.
the only thing we
Tools and such.
the only other thing I think we'd need would be clothes to protect from the sun if we don't already have them.
Mm.
You can go to the merchant who still has clothes and such. It's just the open stall had those items directly available.
Mm-hmm.
We have tents, yes.
We should.
I'm gonna
That's
say
also available here too.
if we if we don't already have it, do you think we'd need it?
Tents? Yeah, if we're gonna be more than a day out there, we're gonna need it.
Okay. Well, let's get either a big one or a couple small ones.
Big one
How
would be
much will those be?
best.
Okay. Get a big one for all three. How much will that be? Do you have one?
A large tent that can fit multiple? That will be 10 gold.
It's off the wizard's pockets. You need what you need.
If you
So he goes over and grabs a large bundle of this fabric, and you can hear the wood kind of stakes in there as well. And he hands it over to you and then asks for the coin.
okay.
So, 10 gold. In
Yeah.
that case, let me alter that. All right. And would you like any particular clothing as well?
Um, stuff to keep us cool and protected from the sun.
Right. So, with that clothing, I do recommend several of these cloaks and some wrappings for the head. So, all in all, two outfits for yourselves will simply be 5 gold.
I don't need the cloak. I'll just take the head wrap. My skin's pretty tough. The sun doesn't
Okay.
bother it none.
So, that will be a silver for the head wrapping, and that would be 2 gold, 5 silver for head wrapping and cloak.
Okay. Um,
Deal.
I'm getting the clothes because I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Okay.
I still got the head wrapping because I figure if any dust comes up with the wind, I'd rather not get stuff in my eyes.
So, let me do some math. Okay. So you should have a total of 83 gold, 8 silver now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Okay. So with uh now Crimson has protective clothing and a head wrapping, and now Zargish has just the head wrapping. All
Then
right.
I will ask my compatriot to be patient with me and let me run over to the blacksmith real quick so I can see what they got. I'm just curious.
Okay.
In the way of tools and weapons.
All right. So you run over to where you see the smoke exiting a chimney and hear the clang of a man hammering away at some nails. And you can see that there is a blacksmith shop, but it's not named. You see a blacksmith who is currently a shirtless man who has some markings on his back that don't look to be tattoos, but more so of scars. And he is wearing trousers, and you can see from the side that he does have a beard. He is a large, muscular man with fair skin, and he is currently hammering away at some nails on his anvil.
I'll try to get his attention and
All
give
right,
him a
and
little
how do you?
wave. Hmm?
So you want to wave at him?
Yeah, I want to approach slowly and try to wave, be friendly, get his attention.
Do a charisma check real quick.
Charisma for that. Okay. Better not be in that one again.
With just trying to wave at him, he does not notice you.
I'm coming closer. I'm gonna say hello.
And do another charisma check again, please. And add 2 to it, on top of the one you already have. He does
8.
not notice. So even with the 8, he does not notice that you have even said anything. And
Let me
he's still
tread.
just hammering away.
Let me tap him on the shoulder.
All right. So with this time, he does feel the tap on his shoulder, and he raises his hammer up and turns, and he stops himself before he brings his hammer down from muscle memory. He goes, "Oh, sorry, Sadiq. Can I help you with anything?"
Yeah, what do you have for sale? I'm sorry to bother you. You look busy. I'm looking for
"Oh,
tools,
yes, a
weapons. What do you got?
customer. Um,
I'm
I
in a
do
rush. I'm
have
sorry, but
I do have weapons for sale for travelers. I also have some armor that I fashioned together
mm,
in my spare time, that is.
mm, what do you have as far as tools?
As far as tools, I have pliers, sickles, and I also have a few plows and a hoe. Just the one
Pliers.
hoe.
Well, what do people around here use pliers for?
Removing anything of discomfort from either teeth or feet or from hoof.
How much are those?
The pliers themselves, that will be 1 gold.
I'll take it. I'll splurge.
Okay. So you take a plier for 1 gold.
Pleasure doing business with you.
Pleasure with you as well, sir. Good day.
Goodbye. I'll
Okay.
go back and meet up with my compatriots and see if we can get a move on.
All right. So you're able to meet with your compatriots back in the square as they're walking towards the exit that leads towards the farm and plantation, because that's the only other place to buy animals at this point. So, with that, you are able to exit the gate. There is a guard that gives you a curt nod as you exit, and you begin walking towards the east alongside the oasis and down the stream towards the plantation. You see a building off in the distance with a thatch hay roof, and you are able to see that there are fields around it that are abound with wheat, barley, and also some grazing animals that are within fences.
Can I
Within
turn?
those fences, you are able to see goats. There is a pen for chickens, and you are able to see several donkeys or mules.
Can I turn to our wizard friend and ask why are we heading here?
I
I
thought you
thought
said
we
you wanted to ride, did you not?
I thought we came to the conclusion that going by foot would be the most prudent option.
Oh, right, right, right. Yeah, silly me, silly me. There is someone I ought to meet here anyway. I told him I'd leave. I told him I'd tell him before I leave, rather. So there is someone I need to meet as well. He's likely over here this time of day.
I'll turn to Crimson and I'll say that's your in-game name, right?
That would
Uh,
be Sam, I do believe.
it's Sam.
Sam. Oh, I'll turn to Sam and I'll say, "Well, you wanna go into this here?
I mean,
What do you think is best?"
he's the one paying, so let's follow and we'll see.
Suppose that makes sense.
Okay. So you see a large building with a thatch house, a thatch roofing, and you are able to see that it's at least 2 stories tall. It looks to be a large plantation house, and you can see that there are workers out in the fields currently harvesting some of the grain. There is one animal handler that is attending to some of the animals. There is another child that is feeding the animals, and there is another child that is very uh, in a very difficult manner, is trying to carry a large bucket of water to put into a trough. So, with that, there is also the main door that is a solid wooden door with some iron latch or iron hinges on it, and is attached to the frame that is primarily a cut of stone. So, with that, he knocks on the door, Mr. Halliman, and And a minute or so, someone answers the door, and it appears to be a housemaid of sorts. She is a fair skin, long dark hair, and has a kind face. And she sheepishly asks, "Is there any way I can help you?" And says, "I'm looking for Sadiqin, or yes, Sadiqin." And is he here? Uh, the woman shakes her head and says, "No, he's returned to his house for the day. Is there anything else I can help you with, though?" And the wizard goes like, "That should be everything. Back in his house in the town." And the lady shakes her head yes. So he then gets off of the porch, dusts himself off, and says, "Well, I think she can take a message or hint. But if we're ready to go, we can go now if we so choose."
We're ready to go.
If there's anything you
Okay.
need to handle first, we're ready.
All right. That should be everything. Get on your protective clothing, make sure you're all good to go, and
Yep, we're
we
full on
are
water.
off.
And I think for the record, I think I'm the one carrying the keg
Um,
of
You are
water.
the one carrying the keg, and you can distribute however many pouches of water per person if you so choose.
I have a bag of holding, so we can put the extra pouches in there if need be.
All right.
Why wouldn't we want to put the keg in there as well?
Will the keg fit in the opening? That's a DM
Uh,
question.
with this keg, I don't think it will.
You said it holds 4 water skins worth of water.
Yes,
There is
it's a
no
large keg.
possible way that it cannot fit in a 5 by 5 foot space.
A bag of holding is not 5 feet by 5 feet.
Oh, you mean the opening?
The opening of it is not. No,
Is it 1 foot 1 foot wide?
it's 1 foot wide. The keg is 2 feet wide. The keg
Okay.
itself is 2 feet wide by 3 feet tall. It can hold the equivalent of four of the water skin.
I'll carry the keg. I can give her my extra the just the plain old water skins that are full of water.
Okay. So, with that, are you all ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. So you begin your journey. Mr. Hallamond pulls out a parchment, gives it a quick read over, and then rolls it back up and shoves it into one of his now no longer rolled up sleeves. And he says, "All right, this way then." And off you go.
Okay.
So, with the first day of
Where's the sun?
travel,
Where's the sun?
the sun is currently over to your rises, sets in the east. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, sets in. No, it rises in the east, sets in the west. So it is currently in the east a little bit, and it's at this point like 11-ish in the morning. So it's not directly ahead just yet, overhead just yet, but it is starting to get a little bit warmer today.
Are there any clouds?
It is a very clear day. There is a bit of wind though. Okay.
Which direction is it coming from?
The wind itself is coming from the south.
Okay.
So it's coming
At
basically behind you.
at our backs.
So it's coming at your backs.
Okay.
All right. So with that, you are able to travel for 2 hours, and you are able to see on your left and right that there is vegetation of grass and palm trees. You do, however, see that it is getting a little less and a little less the further out you go. You can see that the oasis itself is now beginning to get to be out of immediate sight, as this is a fairly large pond. But in about hour's travel, it is now out of sight. And you can see a kind of mirage of sorts of where the oasis allegedly is. But outside of that, please, both of you roll perception for me.
We'll
Okay.
also say that I want to make sure that our wizard is making sure he's mapping the place. Let's be on his butt about mapping. I'm not gonna get lost in the desert. You said perception?
Yes, perception.
I got a
Passive
10.
perception?
And Zargish?
Wait, passive wisdom perception?
Yeah, just perception.
Where is.
It's going to be under your list of skills.
Oh, I better roll good on this. I rolled all my bad stuff early.
You are both unable to see anything that looks out of the ordinary. So, at this point in time, you are walking down this dirt road, and there is another pool of water in the near distance. And you are able to hear something in the bushes as you approach. And now you can see that you are surrounded on several sides by several assailants in head wrappings and in trousers. So
Mm.
let me get your pieces on the board. This is an ambush. Welcome.
Oh dear. Um,
We've attracted quite the attention. Where are we?
You are
Uh,
about here and here, as well as
we're so
one.
unfriendly in this region.
Oh, he didn't place, did he? Oh, he did. There we go. Now, let me give you all control of your stuff. And it's a shame that we can't play music
mm-hmm.
because of the YouTube being them nowadays.
Well, bro, I will say if you give me the videos like the night before, I can get you all the music then
Oh,
in
okay.
MP3 format.
Can we
Well,
see
I gave you the musics from before. But at any rate, roll initiative, please.
all the attackers?
You can see the attackers on the left. However, at the moment, for the ones that are in the bushes, you do not know they exist.
I was gonna
These
say
these two
for
have popped out.
for the future, if we can't see him, please never show them to us.
All right,
So
Yeah.
we don't know until we get like rocks thrown at us or something.
fair enough.
Then we're like,
Apologies.
holy crap, there's more than we thought.
So I got
I did
Actually,
a
prep all this morning. My bad.
24.
Okay.
are you kidding me? Oh, I thought it was a one. It's still bad.
You
Okay.
technically can't get a 1.
I can't. Oh, I mean, rolling one plus whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let me put these in an order. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Mm-hmm. So
And I'm putting these in order. It should be done in now.
okay.
All right. So with that, this bandit group attacks first, and they begin to throw javelins at you. So, both Zargish and Crimson, can I have you? Just a moment. Let me get out my real dice.
How uncivilized.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh boy,
Oh dear.
and that. Okay.
EPK.
Crimson, what is your AC again?
15.
Okay. So, Zargish, one of them rolled a natural 20. So there's that. So with that, two of them throw javelins at you, and one of which does seem to hit Zargish.
No, it
So,
doesn't. No, it doesn't.
oh,
You should you forget, brother.
it was
Anytime
a
anything is
natural 20.
so,
Okay,
I don't
and
see anything deflect missiles.
okay,
I'm going to deflect missiles.
okay,
I'm going to reduce the damage by 1d10 plus 10.
all right. So that'll be a total of 8 damage. So in that case,
Nope.
Uh,
what'd you roll?
A
Okay,
13. I whack the javelin in half, breaking it as it flies at me.
okay.
Okay.
Right? Am I following the rules correctly? Even if though it's 20?
Mm, I think natural 20s hit regardless. I really don't know, but I don't know
It's a bonus action.
Well,
bonus action. Okay.
uh,
Or a reaction, I'm sorry. Hmm?
so natural 20s, it depends on DM rolls, but natural 20s are crits. So it's double damage.
Oh yeah. So that will be 16. So you take 3 damage. It scarred the palm of your hand.
Okay. So when I smacked it in half, the splinters of the javelin flew in my face or whatever.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
Okay. So with that, it now goes to Sam.
Did you
Okay.
already take the damage off me?
You do that yourself.
Okay. We were full health before, right? So
Yes.
okay, I'm already at what I'm supposed to be, 42.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, you know, these guys are being mean, so I'm gonna cast some spells. Or
And each of these squares is 5 feet.
okay. So 5 feet. I can go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Sorry we don't have music for this, as YouTube has done its finagling.
Figure it out by next time for sure.
Hmm. That's 30. Are they 15 or 10 feet away from me?
This one is directly at. Oh wait. So that would be 5, 10. Oh, he is 15 feet within. The other
Okay.
one is 5, 10, 15, 20 feet away. So this guy is within range
Okay.
of 15.
Cool. So I have the 15-foot reach with my wolf fang.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and attack him. That is a 24 to hit.
It certainly does hit. Roll for damage.
7.
Okay.
She's whipping it around.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So you are able to take out your sword whip and twirl around and give him one hearty slash across the chest. And he is not in good shape.
Okay.
Okay. So with that, it then goes to one more. It then goes to the bandits again. So now, these bandits in the back here, are now visible to you as they are now uh, perking up out of their bushes and now throwing, if I can get them to the proper layer. There we go. Have now popped out of the bushes and are now throwing their javelins at you. So, Crimson, they're going to be throwing theirs at you. So that will be a 13 and a 14.
Mm-hmm.
So the 14 does connect,
Does not.
does not. Oh, you have 15.
Mm-hmm.
So they throw both of their javelins at you, and both of which arc either across in front of you or directly behind you in a kind of crisscrossing motion. So with that, they both miss.
Cool.
Next up is Zagish.
So I have the unearthly speed of 45 feet per round. So I'm just gonna march my fine self right next to this fool. Right there.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
So with that, there are 2 opportunity attacks that are going to be done to you, as
Why?
two of them, two guys that are currently ambushed over here and here, or currently hidden, are now taking aim and seeing how you move from your spot. They are now flinging arrows at you.
They're ambushing me.
Yes, they are.
Opportunity.
That
Just
one does not hit. Natural one. The other is a 19, however.
they're taking pot shots. Okay.
They're taking shots at you.
Okay.
So with that, it will be another 8 damage.
Nope. I hope
Okay.
not.
Does it
Yep.
specify that you have to see them to
You
know
can
that the arrow is coming at you?
you can use your reaction to
Yeah,
deflect
but
or catch the
does that
missile.
mean do you see them? Because you can't react to something you don't know exists.
If I have the capability to detect missiles coming at me and be
Well,
able to stop them, I'm sure I.
it's passive perception.
Okay,
It
so
would
in that case,
to
because I know how the passives work. So what's your passive, Ian? I'm sorry, Zarkish.
Passive perception is 15.
Okay,
um with that
okay.
also, sorry.
Yes,
With that also, deflect missiles is a reaction, so we can only use it once per round, I
and it
believe.
is back to his turn, so
Okay.
that does reset it.
Okay.
And with passives, the way how those work against the player is for your passive, if I wanted to do something, say like be sneaky about something and you aren't aware of it, I would have to roll above your passive in order for it to pass. I got a 19, so that arrow you did not notice. So that one arrow that you did not notice does strike for 8 damage, since you were not aware of his existence. But
Mhm.
now, these guys are revealed. I apologize for the layering of earlier. I threw this together. But now everything appears to be revealed as to your assailants.
Mhm.
Okay. So with that, is there anything you wanted to do as soon as you moved? Zargish?
I'm sorry, I was muted. Oh yeah, I'm mad. I got an arrow in my side, and I'm gonna thump this fool on the side of the head with my big stick,
All right then.
very aggressively with
This guy
gusto.
here?
The one right in front of me, yeah, he's
Yeah.
gonna be mush.
So
The
uh to
oh,
hit,
I didn't roll a hit. Where do I do that? Sorry.
that's just using the weapon itself.
Did I click?
So
Okay, I clicked the wrong thing. There we go. I rolled a 23.
okay, so that does hit. Please roll for damage.
I did already. It's a 6.
Okay, so you're able to take one good whack at him, and you do hear something uh, break potentially underneath his skin.
Yeah, and I'm gonna kick him barefoot. Whack. Try to
Okay.
kick out his knees as an unarmed strike, as a bonus action.
Oh, okay. So in that case, do the unarmed strike to hit.
22,
It does hit. Roll for damage.
8. So that worked a lot better than my stick.
All right. So after you hit him with the stick and then punch him with your unarmed fist, he does go down.
Go down as in die.
Pretty much.
He is.
Down for the count. Yes.
I kicked the life out of him.
Okay.
Yep,
One moment.
that's all I can do there. That arrow hurt.
All right.
Okay. So,
So next up, it will go to Halamun. He is going to take a shot at these guys using a firebolt. So he will be shooting only the once, trying to hit this guy. That will be a. That does not hit. He shoots his firebolt. Energy arcs up his arm and exits his palm, but he does miss by a little bit. So it does kind of just give him a haircut. So with that, he shoots and he misses. Next up is this group. So they will now be taking pot shots at you, Crimson. So
mhm.
that will be a miss and an 18 to hit. So
Okay.
one of those will connect. So with that, that will be that'll be 9 damage total.
Okay. There we go.
Okay. So with that, it then goes to these guys up here who will be advancing. Oh, hold on. Let me draw this out. Ready? Guy will move there. And the lines are a little hard to see, so I'm actually measuring this out. Okay, so these two will again be throwing javelin at both Zargish and Sam this time. Nope, and nope. So they will, as they are running, they are picking up speed and chucking their javelins at you, and both of which miss once again. With Zargish, it goes clear over his head, and with Sam's character, it does overcompensate for being leading the target. It overcompensates in that regard. So it lands in front of you. So with that, both of those guys miss, and it returns to Sam. Your turn.
I ask real quick, how tall is this wall? It is a
Uh,
wall, right?
it's not a wall. This is a elevated plane
Oh, okay.
as the ramp.
It does look like a wall.
But the to answer your question, it is about like 6 feet in height. In height
We're
difference.
6 feet above them. Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Um.
he's so much better with music. Is sad.
We can all just play it individually.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna attack the guy I attacked previously. Still with my wolf's fang.
All right then.
Okay, so let's attack. That's a.
That hits, and no matter what you do for damage, he will die. Yep. So with that, you're able to put another good slash on his chest, and now he has a X across his breast.
Mm-hmm.
So he is one dead fellow.
Okay. Cool.
Crimson, if you were to play music on your own personal tab and like have it on a different tab, would the stream hear it?
Yes, because it's coming through the audio.
Okay, so in that case, let me throw a link at you.
Okay.
I'll take it as well. Ambiance.
I don't know if y'all
Let
will
me
be able to hear it,
reach them
but
real quick.
I'll play it on my own. Is it one of the ones you sent me?
It is.
Which one?
It is the desert battle music.
I will send the link. There you go.
All right. So here's this one for you, Crimson, and I'll send it to you again as Argish.
so I'm gonna open it up on my tab and just play it as background music.
And I'm going to have it lightly play in the background for myself.
As
There,
am
much
I.
better. Okay. So with that, Sam and then that group is dead.
Mm-hmm.
So now, Zargish, your turn.
Already. Let my wrath pour out against these hooligans. Not uncivilized, they just come out and attack us like they did. Let me measure this out. 25. So when I'm jumping down this thing,
Yeah.
does that cost twice as much, or?
With you jumping down from an elevated position, I would say just make an acrobatics check to land, and you won't have to take up any more of movement
25
because
movement?
you're leaping down from a position.
I'm gonna leap down there with
Make
25.
an acrobatics check for me, please.
Yep. Oh, 23.
That will work. You are able to land and not consume additional movement with that jump.
And then as I'm landing, right, I'm going to use that momentum from my jump to spin around and, well, uncreatively thump this fool in the head
Fair
with my
enough.
big stick. Let it be so.
And let me also get that other one for you.
That's a 23.
That will hit.
Thank goodness I'm rolling good now. 10 damage. He's still alive, right?
With 10 damage, you are able, with the momentum that you have, to thunk him for 10 damage. He actually goes down for the count.
Okay. And then let's see how much more movement I've got. Do it.
And once we get to the ambience parts of it,
Yes,
it'll
I
be
do.
this.
I do have enough movement to go all the way to this guy. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to. Can I still use my bonus action at this point?
I believe you can.
Well, then I'm gonna just kick him in the stomach. Try to kick
Okay.
the air out of him. And then I'm striked.
Roll to hit.
Mm-hmm. It's an 18. Thank
That will
goodness
hit.
I'm finally rolling okay. 7 damage.
Okay. You were able to kick him in the chest, and he crumples down the center real quick, and you can hear the wind go out of him.
Hmm.
But he is still up and standing.
That's all I got.
Okay. So next up will be Mr. Hallamon. He will be taking another shot at one of these guys with a firebolt. So that will be a... that does hit. And that will be 1d... That's d12. This is a d10. Okay, so that will be... I don't know if that's d10 anymore. Okay. So with that, that is a d10. So that will be actual. Yeah, drop my dice. 6 points of damage. Right. So now it goes to the bandits once again. Okay. So this guy up here will now be taking a swing at you, Mr. Zaga. And that is a 19 total.
Yep, my armor class is a 17, so.
So that will smack. Okay. So that will be a total of 4 damage.
Try to kick him in the knees or something.
He tries to swing his sword at you, and he's able to scratch your shell, but not much else.
4 damage.
Okay.
All right, so after that, it then will go to this other group of bandits, who will once again be taking pot shots at the both of you with bows and arrows. So that one will not. Neither will that one. Okay, even with the bonuses.
These guys aren't very good archers.
So with these guys hanging on, these two are currently hanging on palm branches. They are taking shots at both of them, each of which are able to miss and or fall short. So once again, the order comes down to Sam. What do you like to do?
I'm gonna use my movement to pull out my bow and aim for this guy that up here,
Okay.
because he's being threatened, so that means I get sneak.
Okay.
So let's attack.
What does that mean, you get sneak?
Sneak attack.
It means I get extra bonuses to damage. So
Okay, cool.
A
that
19 will hit.
so
All
that's
right.
23 damage.
Describe how you kill this guy.
He's bringing his sword up, I'm guessing, to slash again at Czar. So pull back the bow, let the arrow go, and it goes into, I guess you could say, a chink in his armor.
Okay. All right. So as you are able to pull back the bow, you have a quick moment to breathe and release. Arrow flies through the air and hits this guy square in his chest, and you pierce his heart. He is one dead man.
Hmm.
Okay. So now all that's left is this other group. Anything else you want to do?
Mm, uh, not this time.
Okay. So with that, it then goes to Zagish.
Can I shout out something? Does that cost me anything?
Uh, Depends on what you're trying to do with that shouting.
I,
Because if you're
Well-
trying to intimidate someone, or if you're trying to just simply pass a message to one of your party members, that's two different things.
I'm shouting at our adversaries, and I want to say, if you surrender, we'll spare your lives.
Roll for intimidation or persuasion at this point.
Persuasion?
Yeah, persuasion.
Rolling. I roll a 6.
They don't find your argument very convincing.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'm just
So
gonna
that would
do-
be your bonus action.
That's my bonus action.
That is your bonus action.
In that case, I'm gonna. Where are they exactly? Are they on the ground?
They are in the trees,
How high up?
10 feet tall each.
I'm going to.
They're in the trees, yet they do not speak Vietnamese.
Is this a cactus? These things I'm seeing.
Yes, this, and other ones similar are cacti.
Okay, so I'm going to move 15 feet over here. I think, yep, this is 15. And then I'm going to throw a dart at this fool in the tree closest to me.
Okay.
Dart time. Throwing.
So roll to hit for me.
Roll a 17.
17 does hit. Roll for damage, please.
8 damage. That's the best I could have rolled. I must have. I threw this thing. I was aiming for his eyeballs.
You are actually able to throw this dart and hit him in the eye. He screams as the dart lands in his socket, and when he lands, he screams no more. He is dead.
Well, that was only 15 of my movement. I'm going to use another 15 to hide on the other side of this cactus very tactically, as to gain cover from this guy shooting arrows.
Tactile cactus. That'll give you +1 AC.
Cool.
Okay. So after that, it'll go to Mr. Halloman. He will see that he's at a bad angle and move forward 5, 10, 15, 20 feet and take another shot at the adversary. Let me see what he all. That is. Uno momento. I was on the wrong page for this guy. So he will actually be using distance. Nope, that's out of range. He'll be shooting another firebolt at this man. All right,
Fireball or firebolt?
firebolt.
Bolt, copy.
And this one does hit. Oop, I put 2 of them in there. Okay, so with that, he will shoot the firebolt, and this does connect. He hits this man square in the throat, and you can see that his mouth expulses flame as he tries to exclaim and scream. However, the fire drowns out the scream itself. So you see a firebolt go into this man's throat, fire leave this man's mouth, he falls back out of the palm tree, lands on his back, and you can see his throat sizzle in smoke as he lands. He is one dead man. And that is all the bandits. Congratulations, you survived an ambush. All right.
How uncivilized! I thought we were coming to rob a grave, and all these bandits try to kill us and steal our stuff. What
So
is this?
with that, uh, on these bandits, you are able to find 3 silver amongst all of them.
No wonder they were bandits.
Okay. So if you would be so kind, the journey ambient music is the one we are going to switch to now,
Okay. So give me
as
just.
we are no longer in combat.
Okay, there we go. And let's switch to this.
Okay.
Mhm.
So with
Switch.
that, there is. Did anyone to inspect the body outside of the coin purse?
Yes.
The bodies? Yeah, let's look for notes and look for markings on their bodies to see if they have any affiliation with anyone,
Find out
On.
if they were ordered.
or if they're just normal bandits.
All right. So you are able to see that in one of their coat pockets, you are able to see a note of which describes that they are to be stationed in this area to take any passerbys by surprise that have crossed the Red Dune Sea. They'll be weary and won't put up much of a fight, as the letter claims, which seems to not be the case in your situation. So it seems that these bandits were meant to ambush people that have freshly crossed the Red Dune Sea and were likely weak from crossing such a almost insurmountable desert, and it would be easy picking. So with these guys, you do notice that there are scorpion tattoos on their neck.
Hardcore.
Um.
Outside of that, you see that they are carrying daggers, scimitars, and 2 of which had javelins. The other 2 had short bows.
Hmm.
So from this, you said there was a note we found. Was there a from? Was there a name on there? Like on the
I'm
authority
sorry,
of.
there is no name, but there is a stamp of a scorpion that resembles the same marking on their throats or their necks.
Hmm, it seems hella fishy. Weren't you talking earlier about some scorpion thing?
Mm-hmm.
You think this might be
Allegedly,
connected to that?
there is a pet that the wise one owned, but I have no description as to what that pet is.
Uh, it could be that these guys, the scorpion may be an ancient order that protects the tomb. It could be the pet, but these guys attacking us and having the scorpion on them, I don't think is a coincidence.
Hmm. Do you know anything about this wizard? You've said you've lived here for a while. You ever heard of any
Unfortunately,
groups?
I don't think I do. All I know is that there's reports of brigands that have been ransacking caravans that have passed through, but outside of that, I can't really say I know much. I stayed primarily in one place,
You could
studying from
have.
where I could.
You could have told us about that before we headed out.
Well, I didn't think it would be relevant. It's also the reason why you were hired for protection. So yes, I do see the relevance in this. Yes, my apologies.
Oh, we should work on that line of communication in the future.
If fair enough, I will endeavor to do so.
Thanks, boss. So,
Okay.
do we need to fill up on our water? How much do we? This has been a whole day's travel, right? What time is it?
It is now approximately like 7 p.m. So the sun is beginning to set.
So,
And how cold is it get in this region?
At night? Oh, freezing.
yeah, it's a desert. You want to bundle up and be safe. Um, my suggestion would be we go ahead and fill whatever we've used up and we sleep somewhere up here on this slightly raised area. Just
Is
so.
there any like? What was your logic?
Hmm.
What were you gonna finish saying?
I was gonna say we should, since there are creatures who like to roam during the night, if we're gonna sleep during the night, we need to sleep probably up here. Make sure that we can see out a little bit, and someone has to be on guard during the night.
Okay.
How about we take up watches?
That works for
So,
me.
what? How long do we want to sleep for?
Well, we'll each need 8 hours.
Okay, we'll do a long rest. Yeah, just 6 hour shifts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All three of
So
us,
is there
all each
anything
of us
you
can
wanted
take
to
them.
do with the body?
Mm,
Mm,
no, I would figure that whatever comes out probably likes to eat flesh. I mean, how about we get the bodies away from us? How about we make sure we drag them off, maybe a couple 100 meters away at least.
mm-hmm.
I can do that while y'all are setting up camp.
Okay.
Dead body duty.
So you were able to drag away most of the bodies, place them elsewhere. So with that, you all get the tent and all that set up, and then night begins to fall. There is
One
a
other
lim-
thing. I'm sorry to
yes.
interrupt. Like all these thieves here. Do we when we're setting up camp and looking around? Do we see any evidence that they had any encampment or that they had any
Roll perception
belongings?
for me, but at disadvantage.
Perception at disadvantage.
One more.
10.
You are able to see that there is one dune that looks to be out of place.
Let's go
It's
over to it.
Yeah, I'll
it's
tell
a
my.
singular dune outside of a relatively flat area.
I'll point it out to my friends and I'll suggest we head over there to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
As you
Is the wizard going
approach,
to come with us?
uh, the wizard will, yes. So let's use imagination for this moment. As you approach, you are able to see that this dune isn't actually a dune. It
Mm-hmm.
is a large sheet that is strung up along several goalposts that is meant to be a form of camouflage. It's a sheet that blends in fairly well with the surrounding sand. It blends in well with the color. So if you were just looking across the horizon at a distance, you would not notice.
Holy
Um,
crap!
let's go in and let's be cautious, but go in and see if there's anyone in there or if it has supplies and such.
Should we all go in, or should some of us stay outside and just stay by the door?
Uh, that's your choice. I want to go in. We just need to be cautious and aware.
I'll stand at the door, looking in and just watching my compatriots figure things out.
Okay. Can I use?
So-
Huh? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Can I use stealth to try to be sneaky and go in case someone's in there?
You certainly may.
Uh, I'll go with the first one since that was the first roll. 25.
Yes, you are able to enter in, and you are able to find purchase amongst the sand and not create sound.
Mm-hmm.
The sand to absorb your footsteps.
Okay. So
Okay, so you are unheard as you walk.
so I'm gonna sneak into uh, the whatever it was called, the structure.
Okay,
Tent.
this is a kind of like a palisade of part of sheets where it surrounds several tents. Each of these tents has different colors to them, one of which is a patchwork of kind of like thrown together cloths. None of it resembles any form of pattern. You can see the poor stitchwork. It is a hodgepodge of different blankets and other things, as well as a few tarps that are covering this tent.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, there are two other tents that look to be uh, normal, but there are patches on these tents. However, it is not as uh, thrown together as the other tent is. Each of these tents are a square tent, each of which appear to be 6 by 6 feet tall and, or sorry, 6 feet wide, 6 feet long, and about 6 feet tall. They do, however, have a triangular prism of a kind of roof for these square buildings.
Mm-hmm.
So, or tents. Inside the first tent, did you want to poke your head in?
Yeah.
So you were able to part the sheet that is acting as a door. You can see that there are several sleeping spots, three of which for this particular tent. Outside of that, you see a small pit in the center of this tent that looks to resemble a small fire pit.
Okay.
There is a brazier that is sitting inside of this little pit. It's more like a stone bowl than,
Mm-hmm.
and around it you are able to see that there are several placemats where one would be able to eat at.
Okay.
All right. Outside of that, you are only able to see uh, bed rolls and a sack that is in the corner of the room.
Okay. Uh, what about the other tents? Are they the same?
The other tent, this first tent that you looked in was one of the square tents. The other tent that was the hodgepodge of other colors is a kind of oval of sorts. So, did you want to look at the other square tent first or the hodgepodge tent?
Other square.
The other square tent is of a very similar description. It has three placemats as well as three sleeping spots and another sack in the corner of the room.
Okay.
Very similar in shape and structure, but in different placements.
Mm-hmm.
I will ask. I'm standing outside the whole structure, looking on in. Do I hear anything? Do I see anything moving around?
Roll for perception.
24.
You are able to hear a faint breathing in one of the tents, of which seems to be the hodgepodge tent.
Was that the one I saw her go into?
No, she went into two of the square tents. There are two square tents with minor patches into them, and then there is a hodgepodge tent of various colored blankets.
Okay. To be clear, there's only 3 tents in this structure that we can see, right?
There are three tents inside of this palisade of sheets.
Okay. Well, since I hear that, I'm gonna be alarmed, and I'm going to try to sneak in. You know,
Roll for stealth.
and I'm gonna try to get in contact with my teammate and tell her what I heard. So stealth. Rolled 21.
You are able to walk into this structure, and once again, your footfalls are caught in the sand. No sound is heard.
I'm trying to guest her and get the attention of Sam. I
Uh,
want to
my
tell her what I.
my passive perception is 11.
I would say that you beckoning to each other is fine. You're good to go on that. You
Okay.
can just wave at each other to come on over.
I'm just trying to get her attention. I want to go over to her and I want to whisper. I heard something in the hodgepodge tent. I think someone's in there.
Okay.
I'll whisper in it.
I'm gonna.
What you want to do?
I'm gonna sneak over there.
Okay, I'll be right behind you then.
And keeping your scores from earlier, you are able to peer inside the tent and see that there is a man in a white kind of head wrapping with similar apparel to the men you were fighting earlier. And with this man, he is currently on his side, facing away from the door, and he is what looks to be sleeping.
Okay. So I'm gonna sneak out.
I'll follow her.
We have two, and then once we get out, I'm gonna go back to our boss.
Yep, I'm following.
So there's someone in there, asleep. I'm guessing it's their boss. So we have two options. We can, well, three options. We can camp here, and if he wakes up at some point, he may attack us because the others are dead for attacking us. Um, we can, as much as I hate to say it, we can kill him in his sleep and be none.
We could capture him as well. No,
Okay,
we
so
could
four
try.
options. We can capture him, we can kill him in his sleep, or we can keep going and try to find another place to rest. Knowing that if they he wakes up too soon, he may come after us for killing his compatriots.
What do you think, boss man? This guy could have. I mean, if we could capture him, maybe he could tell us something. Maybe he knows something about this tomb you're looking for.
Honestly, I doubt he does. Uh, he's likely. Was he wearing anything in particular?
White turban?
Yeah, he looks similarly dressed to the rest of the bandits.
But he did have difference in clothing, yes?
Mm-hmm.
By all accounts, if I had to guess, he's the leader of this little band of brigands, but outside of that, I really doubt he has anything to do with the tomb. But
Oh,
we can never be too sure.
well, if you're indifferent, what do you think, Sam? What should we do?
I mean, we can capture him, and I don't want to lose a day and head back, but we could capture him and just, I don't know what
What do you
we do
prefer?
after that.
Do you want to just kill him in his sleep and get it over with, or do you want to wake him up and see what we can get out of him?
Uh, Honestly, I'd prefer not to kill the dude in his sleep, but if he attacks us, that's a completely different story.
We can just go and say hello, wake him up. If he chooses to cooperate, right? If he attacks us, we'll just kill him. If not, maybe we can get something out of him.
Okay. But you're the one waking him up.
Okay, I'll go in first. You want to come with us, boss man, or are you gonna stay here?
I think I'd rather not poke a sleeping tiger.
Huh. Okay, well, be safe. We'll be back in a second.
I'll be right outside if I hear anything. I'll be out here.
So we'll walk back in, and I'm gonna sneak back in, trying to get into his tent without awakening him.
Okay, so what was it you said?
I want to sneak back in. I don't want
Okay.
to wake him up until I get in the tent with him.
Okay. As you enter the tent, you are able to see that there are rugs across the floor, and there is a kind of dirt patch in the opening of the tent. So there is the sand that is there, but outside of that, is carpet that is covering the floors of this tent. This tent is a kind of ovalish circle type tent, and he is sleeping on one of the sides, where I will put an illustration on the screen. On, I'll draw it real quick. Something akin to this. He is currently sleeping on this side of the tent, and there is a chest of sorts, or a trunk rather, that is on this upper side here.
Do I see any weapons laying about next to him?
Uh, Roll for perception if you're just looking.
Yep, just looking from where I am. Where's the door?
The door would be on this particular side down here.
Okay, I rolled a 7.
You are not able to see any weapons strewn about on the floor.
Okay. I'm just gonna yell out in common, "Good morning.
Oh
Wake up."
dear.
Uh, this man will awake with a jolt, and as he turns, he will reveal that he was basically cradling a great axe, almost like sleeping with it almost, and he had a great axe that he was kind of like curled around,
Hmm.
and he has it in his hand. He goes, "You're not Jarier." Who are you?
I'm Zargish. Pleasure to meet you. Uh, we stumbled across this place in our travels. We're looking to see if you could give us some information about the area.
Information. You found this place. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You said
we
your
just
name was Zargish?
yeah, we just walked over here. We're looking for something in the desert. You look like you're familiar with the area. What do you know about this place?
Why do I look like I'm familiar with this area?
You wearing a turban?
Are you racist?
I mean,
A
you look like
You
local.
you're
look
from it.
like a.
You look like the rest of the people I've seen in this region. Yeah.
Okay, so you are racist.
You have an accent? You're from this place, no? Am I wrong?
I am not from this place in particular.
Y-
Let's
you.
let's not be pedantic. Why are you brandishing that axe like that? You look
Well,
like you're
someone entered my tent almost unannounced and woke me.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. I'm just looking for
You'll
friendly
see his
faces that could
hands
give some help.
appear around your shoulders and see if there's anything behind you. And he does see Sam behind the turtle,
Hmm.
and he doesn't see anything else. Have you seen any other men around?
Actually, yeah, we saw some on our way in. This like near this pond.
Can I roll a deception? I'm gonna say it outright. Yeah, we came upon some dead bodies.
Roll perception. Or roll the deception, I'm sorry.
Ooh.
That will work. You came upon dead bodies.
Yes. There were 6 of them?
He then kind of looks with a look of realization and a small amount of horror in his eyes. Yet his mouth and other expression and his other points of expression don't betray his feelings, but his eyes, you can see, grow concerned. Where find these bodies?
Um, turn to the friend, turn to Czar. Uh, a couple. How far away
Yeah,
are they now? Are
I'm
they?
sorry. Did you know were they your friends? They're just a couple hundred meters off of the main path.
He
I'm
then
sorry
put
if they're your friends of yours.
he drops the hand that was holding the axe and kind of like he puts his face in his hands. He goes, there are only other 6 people around that I know of. I think it's them.
Oh dear. Poor thing. Uh,
They
where
were
y-
my brothers.
Oh, what are y'all doing so far out here?
We find what we can. We do what we can to live.
Hmm.
The towns will not have us, as we've been marked. And he reveals, he takes off his head wrapping and reveals on his neck a scorpion.
What does that mark mean?
I
We
think we
went
saw it
somewhere.
on the bodies as well.
Ugh, they are my brothers. Oh no. He tries to regain his composure, but you can see that his eyes are reddening a little bit, and says, "This mark, we have been branded as criminals, as children. We can no longer be in a town and live normal lives. We were starving as children, but we did what we could. We got caught. And now we live the life of thieves.
Poor things.
Or we did. At least I do now." And begins to sit upright. He has one arm uh, kind of cradled in his lap, and the other is holding his elbow, which is the other arm that is now holding his face. He has his fingers one on the forehead and two on each of his eyebrows, and he's kind of massaging those areas a little bit. And he uh, is just trying to calm himself down by the looks of it.
Well, then I'll just, we're still in the tent there. I'm gonna be like, I'm sorry to hear about your friends. Do you know what could have done this to them? Are there dangers in this desert that we should be aware of?
Well, there's the sand serpents. They can get you, but outside of that, the desert itself can claim many lives. But we've been out here long enough. I doubt the desert did them in. We're not that dumb. That dumb.
Well,
And he looks solemnly at his lap.
Well, we're on a. I don't know what you have going for you, but we're trying to look for some grave or something, some tomb of this guy. If you'd come out with us, our expedition leader, he might want to join us. He might be as far as I know, we're strapped for manpower, so we could use someone like you who knows the region.
He takes one deep breath, and with that breath, it's very shaky. And he shudders a little bit and goes, You know, I don't think there's much left for me here now.
um,
I suppose I can come with you if you're willing to have me.
if you would wait just a moment, I'd like to inform our leader of the development so that way they're not taken by surprise.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll keep talking to him while you head off.
Okay, so I go back to him. How far away are we from the tent?
I would say at this point you are at least a good 7 feet because I'm sure you're ushering him away.
No,
The
I'm staying in the tent.
no,
You're
He's
staying in the
she's going to go talk to our expedition leader.
Yes, and he's outside the tent.
yeah. So we're going to walk off, and I'm gonna talk to him a little bit in hushed voice, basically telling him what I told the other guy, and that the other guy is willing to come with us as more manpower.
Well, I suppose if he's willing, is he not the leader of this little group?
He is, but as far as he knows, we found 6 dead bodies.
You think that's a smart idea? It's easy for him to figure out.
To his knowledge, we just found them.
He believes you?
Yep.
Interesting.
And that's how it's gonna stay if we don't want any problems. He knows the desert probably better than many a people.
Well, his knowledge will be invaluable. I think if I can keep my mouth shut as well as everyone else can, that it's possible that we could have him. Dangerous, but possible.
I mean, worst comes to worst, we can take care of it. Yes, he seems to be the leader, but he's by himself. Him staying with us gives him a new purpose. And it's
Well, I guess a new chance at life is something we could all use at one point.
not.
I think it'd be okay, but we need to be careful about this.
Okay.
And then are you gonna come back in?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna walk back in. So our leader's okay with you joining us. However, I will admit he's a little hesitant, all things considered, with your background, and considering he's stayed in the town for a while. But as long as there's no trouble, they're fine with you joining us.
And I'll just say to him, "Well, I'm sorry, I didn't ask before. What's your name?" I said mine was Zargish.
My name is Zaid.
Huh. Well,
I have no last name.
pleasure to meet you, Zaid. I'm sorry it wasn't under better circumstances, I suppose.
I feel the same.
Do you have anything here that could be of use for our journey? Once you meet our expedition leader, he can brief you in on what's where we're trying to go and what we're trying to do. We're heading across the valley, so it's supposed to be a long journey. You have any supplies with you?
Um, Outside of basic provisions, not really.
Mm. You
I
have that
can.
axe, don't you? You know how to use it.
I know how to use my axe. I do indeed.
Hmm.
And this is a two-handed great axe that is a blade that reaches. There is a handlebar that is directly behind the blade, as well as a large shaft that is wrapped in leather straps.
Well, I will. I'll point to the chest at the end of the room that I saw, and I'll say, "Is there anything useful in that we can take with us?"
Mostly it's just clothes, but I guess we can take what we can.
Mind if I take a gander?
Uh, I see no harm in it. It's just clothes.
Okay, I'll look through it. Anything? Do I see anything interesting?
Uh, you are able to see that there are clothes as well as just one set of playing cards and another set of dice.
I'll take both of those. I'll, show them to the guy and be like, "Hey, mind if I take these?
I,
These could be of good use in the long, cold evenings."
if you got the capacity to carry it, I see no problem.
I'll
Mm.
take those with me, and then
Hey,
unless Sam wants to do anything else, I'll just walk out, head to our expedition leader with the guy.
I'll motion the guy to follow us.
okay.
Is his tile that big?
No, it's not. Yeah, I'm just showing you all visually what he looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So with that, uh, he has now joined your party.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with that, we are about almost 2 hours in. Did we want to take a quick break for either restrooms and or snacks?
Oh, we can.
All
Sure.
right. Let's
When
reconvene in up to 10 minutes. I'm going to make me some coffee.
we can get back at 6 or around there, yeah, 10 minutes.
Okay.
Sure, about that. 6 p.m. EST.
Check
Okay.
y'all back in a bit.
Check y'all in a minute.
Okay, so for those of you who are watching, I'm back. Just to let those of you who may be a little confused understand and know, though we are 2 hours in, this is a one-shot. We didn't have all of our members of our campaign, and since there's only 3 reoccurring members, we how to put this? Since we only have 3 reoccurring members, we're trying to do one-shots every now and then to make sure that all 3 members don't miss the main story. We do have several members that will pop in and out every now and then, but they are not as imperative to the story as the 3 continuous members. Therefore, we're doing our current campaign, or current one-shot. Now, for those of you who haven't figured it out yet, we are using our characters from the other campaign. However, these characters, whereas in the campaign we are currently doing, they're level 4. We just leveled. In this campaign, or one-shot, I should say, which may turn into a campaign, a mini-side campaign, is essentially the same characters, but they're all level 6. So, depending on how things go, we may be switching back and forth. We hope you guys are enjoying so far. We know we're having fun. We got about 2-3 more minutes before everyone else gets back. But yeah. So that's basically what's going on right now, in case y'all are wondering how we ended up from a mine into a desert. So, yeah. Maybe a mini side campaign for when all the members can't join. But until the others get back, yeah. Ah, fudge! Well, that just happened. I just had Sprite literally spill everywhere. That is... Guess that got really shooken up. I'm definitely gonna have to wash this stuff. At least it didn't get all over my electronics. Note to self. Be more careful with sodas. That was... almost lost half the soda. Well, darn. It's all over the floor, too.
Oh, did you make a mess?
Yeah, I got a soda bottle. I brought it upstairs and I went to open it and it exploded all over me.
Oh, okay.
So now, literally, I'm sitting in a puddle of soda.
Lovely.
In
What
real
kind?
life?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
Okay.
I'll be back. I came back to keep tabs. My coffee's almost done brewing, and now I'm gonna doctor it.
Okay, well,
Oh,
I'm gonna mute for a moment because I need to get a towel so I can clean this mess up and change the sheet
Be
on...
sure to check if it was your brother who shook the bottle prematurely.
No, it's because it was a 6-pack of the soda bottles.
Okay.
sabotage.
So it
Well, I'm always cautious, so I always just open it little by little until I know it's not gonna burst.
It's been...
I've had it one too many times to me, so I've learned.
You think
All
I
right,
would.
I'll be back.
So, yeah. So, yeah. That just just happened. And I will be right back because I'm getting a towel for the floor.
Y'all here? Oh, yeah.
And I'm back.
I'm back.
Hello again.
Is Sam back?
Not yet.
Okay.
Hey guys.
Welcome back.
So, I have a seat protector I had to go throw in the wash.
All right.
So, yep. Hi.
So, with that, did you need to get off at 7 like usual or no?
Yes.
Okay. So, with that, we have little under an hour then.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see if we can at least get to a good bookmark and continue from there. Or leave off there.
Mm-hmm.
Next time we need to do a one-off.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z. Okay, so with that, you now have an additional party member of, I believe I named him Zaire.
Yes.
Yes, Zaire.
Or
I,
Zaid.
Zaid, or, yeah, Zaid, my bad. I have it in my notes now. Zaid, the former bandit captain. Lovely ring. Okay, so with that, you all camp comfortably, but Zaid has excused himself. He
Mm-hmm.
went over to inspect the bodies and to potentially bury them as well. So he's out taking care of bodies, and there is a small fire going.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything the party wishes to be doing?
I like to
Um.
go off and make sure Zaid's cool. Ask to see if he wants help burying his comrades.
Mm-hmm. I'm. Huh.
Thank you. Uh, thank you for the offer, but I think it's best for me to do it alone.
As you wish. I'll go back and next to the fire.
Yeah.
So he walks off. You can see that his head wrapping and other things are flapping in the wind, and he walks off silently in the cover of the wind and sand. So, with the fire going on, uh, you are all currently at the already established camp of the previous bandit. You are all sitting around a now central fire pit and sharing your meal with each other, drinking and getting your dinner and rest in. So, with that, is there anything the party wishes to be doing?
Are
Um.
there any plants around, like the oasis? I want to see if I can
Um,
scavenge for anything edible or anything that I could use for medicine. Herbs and the like.
uh, there is nothing that's really edible around this oasis, unless you want to start hacking at a cactus.
Nah.
All right. So with that, uh, Zaid eventually returns, and he then sits down solemnly by the fire, and he has his axe on his back, and at the moment he's just staring at the flame. So he's just sitting there. He looks solemn, but a part of him looks relieved.
He looks relieved.
A part of him looks relieved.
Yeah, I'll leave him be. I won't talk to him. Let
Um.
him vibe.
I'm gonna quietly offer him some of the food we're eating.
He will look up from looking at the fire, and he from what you can see in his eyes, he doesn't seem uh like he understands the gesture almost. Did you ask him directly?
No, I had just held it out for him. Would you like some?
He looks to you and then looks down at the food and then back to you and he says, "You're giving this to me?"
Well, yes, you're part of our group now.
Oh. Well, uh,
Um.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
He sheepishly reaches out his hand and it is palm upright. You can see the palm and he reaches for it and grabs it. And he doesn't pull away. He's kind of waiting for your own hand to go away at this point because he
Okay.
doesn't want to take from you.
Okay. Well, then I give it to him and then go back to my food.
So he then takes the kind of ration pack from you and lays it in his lap. And roll perception for me, Crimson.
Okay. Perception. Let's see. 17.
You can see that there is a single tear welling up in his left eye, and it's slowly streaking its way down his cheek, and it has reached his chin and has buried itself in the facial hair that is there. He has a light scuffle of facial hair as a beard, and he has the beginnings of a mustache, but it's not like little hairs. It's like an established mustache, but it's not at a proper robust shape. It is a facial hair that reaches from his lips that caress down his sides and then form a light beard. He's still wearing his white head wrappings, of which are a design of a kind of checkered pattern almost, with little tufts at the end at certain points that have little beads on them.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of his attire is rags. And you see this tear rolling down the side of his face, and uh, at first, he stumbles upon his words, and you can't quite make them out, but then he clears his throat and says, "Thank you. This is the this is the first time anyone's given anything freely to me or my brothers.
Well,
I thank you.
of course, you're part of our group.
If I may, my brothers, they're not blood brothers. If I may share my past so that you may know me, we were all orphans. We were not brothers by blood, more by circumstance and situation. In the capital of Alibaba, where the Sultan lives in his palace, we lived in squalor in the slum. We were all orphans. All our parents had, in one way or another, died in the Sultan's wars. We were all street rats. We all lived and did as we could to live, survive. In our position, we had three choices. We had to beg, we had to steal, or we got to soldier. We eventually begged until we could no longer beg, so we stole. And before we could get caught, we then decided, when we were old enough, to soldier for the Sultan. We did for a short while, and then we became the very bullies that bullied us. The town guard were not that kind to street rats, as they knew what we had to do to live. We had to borrow and we had to steal. So we had to be the very same people that were our assailants for most of our lives. It didn't take well with me and my brothers. We deserted. Once they found us, they gave us this mark, the mark of traitors and thieves. For thieves, it would simply be a snake. For traitors, it would be a scorpion. As you may be aware, there's a tale of the wise one in the area.
Mm-hmm.
He is the reason why there is a mark for traitors. The
Mm.
scorpion. That was his own personal mark. Or rather, it was the mark of his beloved pet that he would do anything for. So the
Mm-hmm.
legend goes. And we were given the mark of traitors as we had deserted.
just as
And,
he had long ago.
I'm sorry?
Just as he had long ago.
Yes. And that is why we have the mark of the scorpion, that of the traitor.
Your life seems to have been pretty garbo, dude. I'm sorry.
Not familiar with that term, garbo?
Uh, bad.
Ah, I do suppose they have been. It's not been easy, I don't think is the word, but it's the only one that comes to mind.
Oh, it's best to take it day by day. Hopefully tomorrow will be better than this one.
Indeed. I gave them what grave I could. Shallow graves for traitors, for thieves. And he looks down solemnly once again and begins to slowly eat his food. And after the first taste, he starts eating a little faster, and you notice that he's eating kind of quickly, and you can see that he's restraining himself, but he's still just really trying to shovel it in. But you can see that there is a little bit of restraint. He's trying not to wolf it down. He's trying to at least be civil.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna curl up in my shell and sleep.
I'm gonna keep watch for the first 6 hours.
Cool. Just
Okay.
wake me up if after your shift is over, and we'll
Okay.
just which way. We might as well establish the order. Let's be formal about it. You can take the first 4 hours. I can take the second, and then the other two can follow up. Does this sound like a plan?
Well, the only issue with that is technically we're being hired for the bodyguard, so we really shouldn't make our employer uh take a watch.
Okay. Okay. So you do the first 6 hours, and I do the second 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Then we each get at least 6 hours of sleep.
And I will see the sunrise. It is a new day, a new dawn in my life. I wish to take the last watch for
Okay.
morning.
Okay, so we'll each get at least 8 hours of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So, who is the one taking the first watch?
I am.
Sam.
Okay. So, with that, as you begin to take your position and Zargish goes into his shell, uh, Halamund goes into a tent, and then you can begin to hear some light snoring. And Zaid will come up to you, Crimson, and says, when you found my brother's bodies, did you see any wounds on them?
A few.
Do you know what kinds they were?
Some looked like arrows, some looked like slashes. I'm not sure entirely what all was done to them.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I could not see any bite marks. So it was not the sands of the snakes. I think they finally decided to come after us again. Hmm. Okay. I shall see you when I see. Take care. And then he goes into his tent and begins resting once more.
Cool.
Okay. So with that, the night is uneventful, and then there is uh, Zargish. It goes to your turn to do the watch, and then when you are changing shifts with Zaid, roll a perception for me.
Me?
Yes.
14.
You are able to hear in the distance the yipping and yapping of coyote and other desert dogs.
Do I find that alarming?
It sounds to be in the very direction where the bodies were left.
Hmm. This is when I'm changing shift, so it's at the end of my shift.
End of your shift, going on to Zaid.
I'll ask him if he hears it as well.
I do. I
What do you
know
make?
that sounds very well.
What do you make of it? Do you think they're
Jackal, hyenas, desert dogs.
oh I mean that's where you put the bodies, right? Do you think they're doing the unspeakable?
I know they are.
Should we interfere? Or...
No, it is the way of the desert. When one dies, it gives life to another. It is nature. Best
All
I
right
could
then.
do was give them proper burial before nature took its course.
Well,
He
I'll be
looks
off
very
then.
solemn as he says,
I'll be off then. Have a good shift. Wake us up if you hear anything worrisome.
indeed. So later on, the sun begins to rise, and at this point, Crimson, I do believe you're waking up at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And what would you like to do? Because
Um,
the sun is now beginning to rise.
I would wake up and double check everyone, make sure everything's okay.
All right. As you make your rounds, you first see that the wizard is sleeping soundly, and Zargish is currently tucked away in his shell, which looks to be peaceful sleep, however, it is hard to tell.
Mm-hmm.
But with Zaid, you can see that he has one arm resting on the palisade of the sheets of one of the supports.
Palisade, by the way.
Palisade, tomato, tomato. Um, and you can see that he has one hand on his axe, and he is thumbing a, a bead that is part of one of the leather straps that is around the handle that is inside the axe blade. So he's thumbing that in one hand and resting his arm and body on the palisade uh, of the canvas sheet and looking at the sunrise. It rises over the desert dunes, and its lovely shades of scarlet, pink, and orange, all flowing into one another. The sun slowly begins to rise. Can begin to see a mirage of the heat waves bouncing off of the ground and rising. It is now morning. And now, what would the party like to do?
Um, I'd like to see if I can wake some people up, uh, wake the others up, make sure we're ready to go. Um,
Body of water. Oh, I'm sorry. I'd like to look at the body of water. How big is it?
This is no more than a overglorified puddle. So it's only like a few inches deep, and at the very center, it goes to about half of a foot deep. There is some vegetation around, but it is just not much. It's about a 10-foot wide puddle, a few inches deep. That's about it.
Okay.
So what is it
I
you asked?
guess we can go scavenge the rest of the tent to see what we can, yeah, what any goods, if anything, we can. Oh! I have an idea. Well, what is this? The big structure, the one that's camouflaged. What is it
Uh,
made of?
it is canvas sheets and planks of palm wood.
But this canvas sheet, the one, it's like the same color as the sand. Yes,
Pretty much, yes.
it blended in so well we didn't see it.
at first.
Until you went looking for it, yes.
Hmm. How? I'll go over to Sam and be like, hey, what do you think? What if we cut like I don't know, like a 5 by 15 foot strip of this stuff? I could imagine we could, it blended in so well, we might be able to use it in a camouflage context. Does that make any sense? You think that might be
No,
useful, or
that makes sense, especially at night. And we could also use it for, uh, we could also use it for shelter from the sun. Um,
as good as their tents are, a nice
mhm.
quick lean-to with the that it blends into the surroundings
Well,
might be
question:
useful.
our tent, the one that we bought, is that one a similar color to this?
No, it is not. This tent is a darker beige, so it can try and blend in, but it's not going to be nearly as good.
Which one? The ones that
The
don't.
one that you bought from the merchant.
Hmm.
So my suggestion is we check with uh him. I'm sorry, I'm horrible with names. So
There is Saeed, the former bandit
Tarman?
captain, or Halamund, the wizard.
Aid, um,
Zaid. Okay.
Said, if we can ask him if it's okay if we take part of the uh part
Tent
of
thing.
this.
Hmm.
Um, the other question with that would be because we have the room to carry it. The question is, would it be okay with him because this is technically his? And two, are we uh is he okay with us leaving the other things here, or would he prefer we go ahead and try to take as much as we can with us so that way they're not ransacked by someone else who finds this place?
Or we could also burn it.
That you certainly can do an ask.
Yeah.
Let's ask him. What does he think?
What does he want to do since it's his place technically?
All right. First, before we do that, ask him in conversation if anything of that is all right.
Um, since we will be leaving this place today, we wanted to check and see what you wanted to do with this place. We did notice that this is really good camouflage. Would you be okay with us uh maybe taking part of the overall structure with us as camouflage for protection? Would you prefer we take as much with us as possible so it can't be ransacked? Should someone
Well,
else find?
I'll add into that. Like, do you think that even makes sense? Is that why you set it up the way you did? Was this intentionally made to obscure this place?
It is an old trick by the tribals of this land. They, to avoid sight and potential capture or invasion or raiding, they would weave large canvas sheet to blend in with the desert, become one with the dune, as it were. They were eventually found, but for the purposes of keeping concealed, yes, that's what this canvas is for. Ah, we can take some of it, but it is heavy. It took all six of us to carry all of this, all sharing an equal load. As there are only four, we cannot take everything. But we
Oh,
can.
all we need is a little bit. We don't need enough for a whole compound like this is. Just a little sheet. Heck, if you're up to it, you can carry that much.
It it's more whatever you want us to bring with us.
Mm.
We have ways to carry lots if need be.
He takes a kind of breath with his nose in and exhales. He says, we can take as much as we can carry. Leaving it for whoever is a kindness that would never be seen again, but we can take what we need. As much of a life as this used to be for me. Yes, we
Oh,
can take it.
how about we take at least like 10 foot by 15 foot
Well,
thing of it.
we may very well DM's discretion, we may be able to take the whole thing.
Not the entirety of everything. That'd be too much to carry.
Well,
As you do not have mounts. If you did have mounts, yes, you would. But
well, I mean like the canvas, we could put it all we should be able to fit it all in the bag of holding.
okay, you can, but that will take time to do.
Mhm.
So yes, you can take the canvas, and you can try and finagle the things, the support posts into it. It should fit. So ultimately, it should potentially work with the bag of holding.
Mhm.
So
Much
you just have
time?
to be diligent about putting it all away.
Okay, so we should, in my mind, we should probably grab what you would like us to keep the most, and then we will, if you are okay with us taking the canvas, we can take the full canvas.
Okay. We
Sure.
can take one of the tents. We can take the canvas, easy enough. But everything else is unnecessary. I'll
Okay.
be taking one of the bed sheets for myself.
Okay.
But outside of that, the rest of this is unnecessary.
So we'll go on about rolling everything up and shoving it in the bag of holding.
All
Mm-hmm.
right. So, with that, it takes several hours to get all of it down, disassembled, and into the bag of holding. So now you once again start at the hottest part of the day, noon. So, with this, you are now making your way across the desert.
Is
Uh,
the wind still blowing from the south?
the wind has changed. It is coming from the east.
Okay.
So now, uh, you can see as you walk, there is sand that is picked up from some of the dune. You can see that it flurries through the air a little bit, and Zargish, roll perception.
I am what you might call very perceptive. 22.
Okay. So with that, you can feel that the wind is really beginning to pick up at some points. Once you reach over a dune, it almost knocks you over it sometimes when you're out proper footing. In the distance, you are able to see what looks to be a fairly large dune, or rather a large set of dune. Roll another perception check.
Which direction?
You are looking towards the east.
Okay. Me
At this
again?
point, we're
Perception?
on imagination.
Me again? Perception?
Yes.
10.
You are able to see that that dune is getting closer. It's a
Mm.
very large dune. It's a wall of sand.
Uh,
I'll
Z-
make sure to point this out to my comrades with a shout and a
Sorry, I'm gonna butcher this name. Zargash?
yep.
Or no, the other one.
Is that
Zaid. Zaid. Oh, what is that?
he then looks over his shoulder and parts the hood a little bit, and he recognizes it immediately for what it is. Sandstorm! And he then beckons to all of you to follow him, and he is booking it down a dune to the very bottom of this dune, and it is kind of in like a half valley, or rather a kind of gap in between two dunes. And he says, "All of you, come here now!"
Oh, I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing what the guy says because he obviously knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm running.
Same.
Okay. So he then gets all of you down to the bottom of this crevice of the dune. Says, "Does anyone have any rope, anything to tie us all together?"
Yes.
So he then kind of like holds out his hands, like, give it here.
Give it to him.
So you take out the rope. He begins to wrap it around himself, and then he ties a knot. And he says, "You, 5 feet away from me, you tie yourself in this rope as quickly as you can.
Okay.
Make sure it is tight." So if I could have you roll a, let
Survival?
me, survival, yes.
Oh dear. Oh, that was safe. A
And
20.
myself as well.
Yes.
She hands it off to me.
She ties herself around nice and tight. Now you tie yourself to this rope.
I got a 14.
Okay. You are able to tie this rope what seems to be fairly tight. And then finally, let's see our wizard
Harriman?
of Halamon.
Halamond.
Oof.
Can I help?
He seems to tie his knot fairly tight by his measure, and he then nods over to the group and says, "Okay, I'm good." And then he says, "All right, everyone, huddle together and hold on. It'll be here any second." So, as you all begin to huddle together,
Like, what
the
are we like prone? Are we trying getting prone at the bottom of this?
yes, you are all, he says, "Everyone, sit down, stay quiet, and please hold together. And do not open your mouth. Do not say a word. Otherwise, you will drown in sand."
Um, can I reach over and try to? Can I check everyone's knots?
Roll perception for me, real quick.
Please, please, please be good. 10.
With that, you can kind of notice that everyone has a fairly good knot on them. And from what you can see of Halamund, his looks to be tight.
Okay.
I will say I would try to like indicate through body language to everyone to like hold hands, like to grip each other's like to hold physically hold each other together, not just with rope.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, hold each other's wrists and hold on tight. And as soon as he finishes that sentence, a massive gust of wind avalanches over the dunes, and sand is now whipping around. And
Mm-hmm.
he says, and he, you can, everyone, roll a perception for me, real quick.
Okay. 14.
And Zargish.
9.
Okay. Sam, you are able to faintly hear him say, "Close your eyes."
Okay. I'm making sure I'm holding on to our our leader, our employer, cuz
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but he's the one paying us. He's the reason we're here. He has the map. I
Yeah,
don't.
we're all holding together to each other's arms,
Yeah.
All
both of
right.
us, because we're right next to each other.
So this sandstorm is now barreling over you, and you can feel the might of the winds of this desert just crashing upon you. And you can barely sit upright, and everyone is juddling around, and everyone is shaking. And you can feel a death grip coming from Zaire on both of your hands, and
Saeed,
Zaid, uh, Zaid, he's giving a death grip to both Sam and Zargish on both of your wrists, and he is not letting go. So, with that, the uh, sandstorm is now barreling against all of you. And can I have everyone roll a strength check for me, please?
Oh.
mm,
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
And Zargish,
you press the not the save, the check.
uh,
Unless this is a save.
it is a check.
Okay.
I
So
don't
that
see it.
it's
Where?
above where you have the
Oh,
squares with the pluses, and then underneath there's the little circle with the full number. There you go. Oh, ow.
You are able, Zargish, to try and hold on to Halamund, but your grip is beginning to slip. And you can still feel the death grip from Zaid, and he's holding on to you. Uh, that would be, uh, you can begin to feel your grip slip on Halamund. And Crimson, with yours, you're able to hold on, but you can then feel that there is a lot of slack coming from Halamund. He is trying to hold on to your hand, and let's see how he does.
Please do well. Please do well. Oh, we're about to lose our leader.
Okay, so with that, you can rapidly feel that his grip is loosening on yours, Sam, and Zargish. Sorry, you have two Z names. Zargish. Uh, he has already slipped his grip, and uh, Halamund has loosened his grip on you, Sam. please roll an additional strength check for me.
Just Sam, right?
Yes.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
This may or may not change what I do. I know I have the turban and the face cover and whatnot. Is there any way that I can use dexterity or acrobatics since he seems to be slipping and he's at the end of the rope to take the rope and get it around him?
Describe to me how you would do what you do, and I will say yes or no depending upon how you describe it.
So he's holding on using one of my arms.
You're holding on to him.
Well, I'm holding on to him using one arm. You said the other one is with
It
I'm
was with Zargish. Zargish has lost his grip. You are the only one holding on to him.
okay. So, what then? Well, I'm saying my other wrist. So,
That is currently in the death grip of Zaid.
okay. I'm trying to think how to do this then cuz I only have two hands. And if I let go, he's gone.
Okay. Do you have any inspiration? Because I already have an idea of what you can do.
So could I, but you're breaking RP.
Do you have inspiration? Because if you do, I can give you a hint as to how this can work.
Unfortunately, no, I don't believe I do.
All right, then I can say nothing and do nothing.
Darn it.
Do I notice?
I'm
I
gonna
obviously noticed
okay.
that I slipped my hand out.
I'm gonna DM you something because this relates to both campaigns.
Okay.
I noticed him. When I lost grip, I lost my grip of him. I noticed this, right? Can I
Yes.
see him? Can I see him? Can I tell where he is? Like,
Open your eyes and roll for perception at disadvantage.
okay, and I'm wearing the head covering, obviously. So
Yes.
perception at disadvantage.
Because at the moment, this is just pure beige going across your eyes.
6. Yeah.
You are not able to see Halaman.
Is the rope taut? The rope from that side of me heading out to him. Is it taut?
Sorry?
The rope that's tying us all together, the side of the rope that's heading towards him, tied to him, from me, is it taut?
Taut, like tight?
Yes.
Oh, roll perception for that.
I'm literally feeling with my hands. I'm not
Oh, you're
seeing.
feeling with your hands. Well,
Yes.
in this case, still roll for perception, but without
Okay.
advantage. Because so much external force is acting upon you, it can be difficult to see what's what.
13.
You are able to feel that his rope has significantly slackened.
Slacken. So I'm going to try to.
And you've already lost grip of his hand.
Yeah. I'm gonna see if I can feel, like, reach out. The hand is now free and try to
Well,
feel for him.
before that, well, since you're feeling for him, Gaz, can you take a look at your DMs?
Yes, I'm looking at it, and this was not the alternative I was thinking of, but you know what? You may do so, but that'll be a dex check as well as sleight of hand.
I'm okay with that. So you said dexterity check?
Yes.
So let's do sleight of hand first.
And the dex will be at disadvantage.
Okay, sleight of hand is 24.
That's
Got
very
it.
slight.
I also have one other thing that I'm thinking I could do. Could I possibly use Mage Hand to do it? Because
Yep.
and you said so that's a
Am I having?
if I'm well with Mage Hand I need to cast it, but
Am I having any luck feeling for him in the direction I think he is out there towards the that side of the rope?
You can feel that his rope has significantly slackened, but you can begin to feel, after about a 5 foot reach, you can feel the knot of where, excuse me, you can feel the knot as to where he tied himself on, and you can feel that it is rapidly coming loose. But when you're feeling and following this rope, you feel like your hand is going up.
Which hand?
That would be
What
your
I'm
left
searching with?
hand is in a death grip. Your other hand has uh, kind of gotten loose
What do you
from
mean
you,
going up?
going up, physically up, as in vertically,
Like I'm touching him? I
as
think
in the rope that you are following is going upward.
Uh, okay, so
I'm gonna
question.
pull on it.
No! Fuck!
Okay, with that the knot has come undone, and now you can hear with a little bit of a muffled. You can hear a kind of scream that is muffled by the sandstorm. And now
Okay,
the only thing that is keeping this man grounded is Crimson's grip.
okay, well, I'm gonna use Mage Hand if the other thing I had sent you doesn't work to have the thing wrap around him and tie into a tight knot.
Okay. So with that, the sleight of hand that works, and the dexterity at the disadvantage of 10. Sadly, you are not able to get a good enough control of what you're doing to make what you wanted work.
Okay, then can I use Mage Hand to do it?
You certainly may.
Okay, I'm using Mage Hand.
All right. So with the mage hand, you conjure this hand into existence. And I believe that it was a kind of purplish kind of glow to it, I believe, from the last time you used it.
Mm-hmm.
So, with this kind of faint purple glow, from what you are able to see, just trying to steal a glance out through this sandstorm, you are able to see a faint purple glow through this wall of sand, just blasting every which way around you. You're able to see the purple glow go in a circle and in a particular spot, and you can hear the muffled screams of a uh, kind of old man that is flapping in the wind.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see the hand has made a circular motion going around a spot in space. And you can begin to think that, yes, this is doing its job, it's doing as it's meant to be. Make an additional strength check for me, please, Sam.
Oh dear. Hi!
With that, you are able to only keep him in the status quo of what he's currently doing. This man is currently flapping in the air, flapping like a fish, and you can begin to feel that it is just really flying in the air. Make a strength save for me, please,
I hate saves.
Sam.
Holy. Oh.
You are able to begin to pull this man back after a large gust of wind has knocked him uh, over your shoulder. And at this point, take 2 damage for me as the strain from him being whipped back has not thrown anything or pulled anything, but it has certainly been a jolt in a direction your arm was not meant to go. But you still have him in your hand.
Okay, and then the Mage Hand, I want it to tie it in a really tight knot.
All right. Roll Arcana for me in that case.
Arcana? Okay.
Yes, please. It works. So, with that, the mage hand is successful from as far as you can tell, and you are able to just huddle together with the death grip on your right hand, your left hand holding on to what is left of this man's arm, and you can feel that he is still in the air. You can feel him flapping, but the wind begins to die down, and after about another minute, you can feel that his weight has returned to the ground, and when you open your eyes, you are all buried in sand, chest deep.
Even he is?
Even he is at this point, but he's kind of facing the ground.
Oh dear.
So, is everyone all right?
For the most part.
Is he dead?
Or little
He hopefully not.
is his head under the sand?
His head is like half in the sand.
Well,
I'm
I'll
gonna
I'll try
pull
to
him up.
yeah.
He is currently unconscious.
Make sure he didn't.
Roll,
Huh?
uh, roll medicine to see his condition.
Can I
You may.
go over there and try to yeah. When
Yep.
once she pulls him out of the sand, I want to go over and check him out.
As you pull him out of the sand, he is unconscious, but you can see that there is sand pouring out of his nose, out of his mouth, and out of his ears. And this man is sandblasted. There are tears in his skin. You can see that his hair is like almost the worst bed head you could ever see. And his clothes are tattered at this point, catching the worst of it. So, with that, he is unconscious and is dripping sand everywhere, but he is unconscious.
I rolled a 9 for medicine. I want to try hitting his back and seeing if since it's coming out of his nose and such, see if I can get out of his mouth and nose.
You're able to knock out some sand. Is there anything else anyone else would like to do?
Does he look like he's taken damage? Like he's
He certainly does. He's beat up, he's tattered, and he has a lot of cuts and a few bruises.
hmm. In that case, I would like to do use that.
You'd like to what?
Give me a second. Would you call it? Would you say that he's stunned?
I would say he's unconscious.
Hmm.
Stunned is when you got smacked with the butt end of a shield and you're just kind of standing there dazed.
I'd like to use my hand of healing on him, which
Okay.
will cost 1 key point. I'm going to touch him on the forehead, and it'll restore 1d6 plus 2 hit points.
All right. Please roll to heal.
That restores 4 hit points to him.
Okay. So with that, some of the cuts that are on his body have sealed, and he no longer looks to be in as bad a shape, but he is kind of beat up.
I
All
can't
right.
think of anything else I can do.
So with
Is
that,
he breathing?
roll for medicine with advantage because you only have to check for so much. See if he is breathing.
25.
So that works. That's a natural 20. You can see that he is barely breathing. Would you like to perform any form or method to try and dislodge anything else? Because upon getting close to him, you
Heimlich
can hear
maneuver.
that breathing is rattled.
Heimlich maneuver.
You certainly may. I would say that
Acrobatics check if
works.
you want.
So with that, you are able to pick him up and you press in and up at the same time as you know how to do the Heimlich,
Mhm.
and more sand is coming up. And there looks to be an amount that you would think, with the amount of sand that's coming out of him, his esophagus was nearly filled with sand. So with that, now a lot of the sand is out of his throat. At this point, there is a pile of wet sand in front of him. And with that, after about another minute, he begins breathing normally again, air quotes, normally. And he is really worse for wear. You can see that he begins to regain some consciousness. And you can see Zaid is kind of standing a little worried behind both of you, and he's just observing the whole situation. and
Oh.
he's resting on his axe as he's a little weary in some areas where he seemed to have used a lot of his strength to keep you two planted.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, he
I'll
looks at
grab a water. I'll grab a water skin and try to give our worse for wear friends some drink. We
so
obviously
as
need it.
you are able to pour some of the water down Halamon's mouth, he then starts coughing and regains consciousness. He then spits up a lot more sand, and he then begins to vomit up more and more of this sand. And he is saying, "Okay, I never want to do that again." And he is just battered, tired, and he looks like he's ready to be down for the count.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, everyone is alive. Little beat up, little bruised, but everyone is fine.
And I do.
So,
That was close.
I do believe that brings us to the end of this session.
yes, it does. Here is a lovely bookmark.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Okay.
almost lost you there, boss. Sorry, my grip wasn't very strong.
Okay.
I think I need to work on my knotting skills. I did crochet, but I did not need to tie it that tight
Mm-hmm.
during crochet. Oof. Oh, well, thank you. I'm alive. And then he kind of pats his belongings, and he quickly notices he no longer has his satchel.
He lost
And
the
that is
map.
where we will end the
Fuck.
session.
He
Good
flippin'
night,
lost the map.
everyone.
Fuck.
Punch!
We have
Oh,
canvas. We have canvas. You can scribble it in with a rock or something.
with a rock?
We can make a fire. We can get charcoal,
Okay.
and then we can use the charcoal to make a map on the canvas.
Okay, well, with that, I do have to go. Thank you guys for the wonderful game and the infuriating cliffhanger.
Can't believe I got a fucking nat 1 there.
Okay,
He got a nat 1 and holding on. It's his fault.
He's a wizard. He doesn't have strength.
He could muster some to not get blown off
Okay.
into oblivion.
Well, I gotta go. Thank y'all, and I will catch y'all next week.
Have a good
Next
night,
time
y'all.
on Dragon Ball Z, we might be back on the main campaign. We'll put this in a bookmark. Otherwise, we might just pick up where we left off. Anyway, so long.